The topic today is SWOC analysis for teachers. I'm absolutely sure you have at least a vague idea of what this SWOC analysis is, and we are going to see how it's going to be relevant to teachers, how academicians, teachers, classroom teachers can benefit from analyzing their own SWOC. That is going to be the focus of my presentation. If you're all ready, we are going to begin. I would like to know how many of you are good teachers and how many of you would like to be better teachers. If you think you would like to become a better teacher, please write in the chat box yes, or you can even raise your virtual hand and show me that you would like to be better. Oh, lovely. That's good. The responses are very quick. I see Muhammad Mubin, Priya, Arpan, Jan, Ashid, Muhammad Jamail, Biman, Pamel, and quite a lot of others also. I'm not able to read them quite fast because they are flowing in very fast. So all of you are interested in becoming better teachers. I'm sure, I don't know if some of you are away from the system or camera or whatever, but every one of you, I'm sure, would be interested in becoming better teachers. Whatever you are, you must be better, and becoming better is a lifelong process, isn't it? So it does not stop. Maybe when we finish our university and come and become teachers, only the journey has begun. And every day we add to our knowledge, we add to our skills, we change our attitude gradually, and then we continuously are on a scale of evolution. So becoming better is a lifelong process, especially for teachers. A teacher cannot say, oh, I'm already a great teacher, that's why I have nothing to learn, I have nothing to do, I have nothing to improve, and that's why I am already at the top, I'm at the zenith of accomplishment, and that's why there's nothing. So that's not possible. Everybody wants to become a better teacher. Somebody says he wants to become the best teacher. Yes, of course, you must be the best in at least a few areas. My second question to all of you, you can again write in the chat box. If you want to become better, when is a good time to start? Next year, or maybe when you are at least 10 years old as a teacher? Thank you. Muhammad Mabir is really very fast. He says, now, wow, wow, Priya, everybody, every day, now, from today, thank you. After September 30th, I don't know why, maybe after this program is over, I think. Why not today? Okay, right now, from today itself, now itself, Pamel says, now, and Malobika says, now. I'm sorry for not able to pronounce your names right. Abhijit says, now. And Naga Harshita says, from now onwards. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Except that one person who said he would like to start becoming better after this orientation program is over, because perhaps you do not have enough time to do anything other than going through these lessons. But everybody else said from today onwards. So all good things must start now. Good things cannot be postponed. So good things cannot be tomorrow. Good things must be today. So if I really want to become better, I must start right at this moment. Perhaps this module that you're doing, this workshop that we're doing itself is your opportunity to become better. And it's an opportunity for me also to become better as a presenter. So it's always now. Good things begin now. Okay. And finally, the last question that I'd like to ask is, okay, I want to become a better teacher. I want to start today, but how do I begin? How do I become better? What should I do now to become better? Is there anything that I can do right now when as I'm sitting in front of the system now, as I'm listening to this lecture, or maybe at the end of the day, at the end of the workshop, somebody said on September 30th, when you have a little more free time. So how to begin and where to begin? Any answers on that? By applying strategies, Biman says. Thank you very much, Biman, for that very good input. Okay, by applying strategies, skills, whatever you've learned, good. By updating knowledge, yes, very much. Knowledge is absolutely essential for teachers through structured approach, Vamshi says. Thank you again, Vamshi. And Biman says, okay, right. Any other answers? Where to begin and how to begin? When to begin is now, but how to begin that? Knowledge. Knowledge is important. Don't worry about spellings. I know you are typing them very fast. If you make mistakes, it's okay. Jilam says self-assessment. Thank you very much. Jilam Chatra. Actually, that's one of the points that I wanted to make. I think perhaps the most of my time that I'm going to spend with you today is going to be focused on that self-evaluation, self-assessment, self-reflection. Chilam, thank you, he says, and then yeah, thank you all of you for giving me those inputs. Abhijit says scattered, better insight and thought to be thinking, and Viman says by knowing our weaknesses and advantages. Yes, that's exactly the focus of my presentation today. So how are we going to begin and how we are going to launch ourselves on the journey of becoming better is what we are going to see. Let's move on from here. Uh, Becoming better, it begins with knowing ourselves. If we know where we are, it becomes very easy for us to go where we want to go. If I know that I am here and I want to move there, because I know that I am here, I can design a strategy. Some people, they do not know where they are. Some people do not know what their skills are. Some people do not know what their abilities are. Some people do not know why they are here. And such people will have great difficulty in knowing where they want to go. If I know, like, I mean, even if you use that GPS these days, the GPS, the first question it asks you is, where are you? So if you allow it, if you give it permission to locate you where you are, then it takes you to your destination and it gives you the direction. Suppose you don't want to share your location with Google. Can Google help you? Yes or no? You don't want to share your
Yes.
location with Google. Can Google help you to go where you want to go?
Yes.
How can it help you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can use the location, the GPS,
That's what I'm
present
saying.
location.
That's what I'm saying. If you don't tell Google where you are and you want to go somewhere, Google cannot help you because first it would like to know where you are. So from here to here, it shows you the route. So step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, go like this. It also asks you questions like, are you walking? Do you want to go by a car? Do you want to use this? Do you want to do that, etc. Then depending on that, it designs the easiest, the best, and perhaps the fastest route to you, and it tells you these are the alternatives available to you. Like that, in case we want to achieve something in life, if we want to be better teachers, if we want to be better in life, the first thing that we need to know is we must know ourselves. Knowing ourselves is reflecting on our own lots of things, lots of factors, our situation. And in other words, it's knowing our SWOC. So I'm going to make my presentation in 3 parts today. The first part is what is this SWOC? And that will take me about maybe 15-20 minutes. And after that, I'll tell you why this is SWOC. That I don't need to answer, I think, because perhaps you already know the answer. All that you may have to do is perhaps maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes we can spend on that, and then we can check why it's going to help us. Why should we do this? And of course, the most important part, the rest of my 2 hours or so, is going to be spent on how we can attempt a SWOC analysis of ourselves. So what is the procedure? Are there any steps in doing that? Are there any tools that we can use? Is there any application that can help us? And how are we going to do that? These are the 3 parts of my presentation. At this point, do you have any questions? Please feel free to stop me and ask me questions. You can post them in the chat box. You can just directly switch on your microphone and then speak into it. Don't think it's going to be any kind of interference to me. I'll stop and then listen to you and answer your question. So how many parts are there in this? Anyone?
3.
3. The first one is
3 parts.
SWOC analysis. The second one is why SWOC analysis. What's the advantage of this? Why should we do this? And the last one is how do we go about this? What's the process involved in this SWOC analysis? Thank you very
Sir,
much.
actually, based on that, the SWOT, before it was SWOT analysis, usually we heard about it and we should follow that. But is there any alternative terminology you're giving, or why that T is transformed to C now?
Thank you, Mubarak, for asking me.
Challenges.
Actually,
Sorry
I
to
wanted
disturb
to answer
you.
that question.
But C stands for challenges, I think so, sir.
Yeah,
Correct.
challenges I know, but why it is? Because actually we came to know that only the SWOT analysis for
Because,
everything.
sir, a threat is converted into challenges.
Yeah.
Correct.
Is
So
there any
you have the
difference in
answers, but anyway, still, because Mubarak asked me this question, I just would like to tell him that earlier people used to use the acronym SWOT, SWOT, but in recent times, SWOT is not very popular. People have switched over to this new expression SWOC, and like somebody has already, Yakan has already given you the answer. It's no more threats. People consider them as challenges. Threats has a negative connotation. The moment you think that something is a threat to you, perhaps you will stop working on that and you will get scared of that and you will not move ahead. So they are not threats in life actually. So the things that you come across and the challenges that you face are, I mean, they're not really threats. That's the idea. But maybe many of us, including me, perhaps use them quite synonymously. And for the time being, for today, think that threats and challenges are the same or at least similar. Use them as synonyms for time being, but they're not actually synonyms. Let me warn you. But I mean, the shift is because people think that challenges is a more favorable word to handle, and then people look at challenges a little more positively than they do with the threats. Some people call it COWS approach. So this is only some other people. I saw some people calling it WOCS analysis. So the order may change, the words may change, but if you know the approach to it, if you understand how we are going to do it, perhaps it makes little difference to you. The order and the word that you use, the acronym that you create is not very important. Hope I have understood you. I hope I have answered your question, Mohammed.
Mubarak, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's move on. So we are going to see what is this SWOC, because one or two of you have already made a mention of the letter C. Let me tell you what all those four letters stand for. S stands for strengths, W for weaknesses, and O for opportunities, and C for challenges. And the four first letters of these four words create the acronym SWOC. SWOC is an acronym. Acronym is the first letters of some words becoming a new word. SWOC is the acronym, and the four ingredients, four components, or the four factors or four situations that are discussed and considered here are strengths and weaknesses on one side, opportunities and challenges on the other side. Let's see each one of them one after another. Before I show you this slide, I would like you to switch on your microphones and tell me one after another. What do you think is a strength? What is a strength?
Our expertise.
Mubarak says it's an expertise. Okay, right? Somebody else?
Technical knowledge.
Sorry, once again, please.
Technical knowledge.
Technical knowledge. Jajna Seni says technical knowledge is a strength. Okay.
Ability to do.
Shankar says it's an ability to do something skillfully well. Okay, right?
Ability to teach.
Knowledge and hard work.
Shakuntala says it's knowledge, hard work.
Hard work.
Okay. You are all okay. Let me stop you here. You are all giving examples of strengths. My question is not asking. I'm not asking you for examples. I'm asking you to define what a strength is. What do you think is a strength? All you've said is right. Everybody has given me good examples. All those are excellent examples of strengths. But patience also is an example. Hope is an example. Yes, Jhilam, you are right.
Sir, the strength is which I do best, whichever I taken up.
Okay. So whatever you do good, whatever
Strong
you do.
willpower.
It's our good side, sir.
Malavika, you wanted to say something.
Strong willpower.
Willpower again is an example, no? So it's an example of a strength.
Sir, it's a capacity that we have.
So it's a capacity that you have. Strength is a capacity, right? Okay.
It's a good side, sir. Our good side.
Anything that you're good at. So if I'm good at something, that's my strength. Okay. I'll give you one or two examples. For instance, you said if you do something well, you were talking about computer skills, for example. Suppose I can operate a computer. I'm well versed with the Windows, and I'm excellent with whatever features are built into my laptop or computer or whatever. So you said that's a strength. But suppose I know how to use a computer, but I am working in a situation where I don't need computers at all. For instance, I am working in a small village where nobody has access to any computer, nobody uses a computer, and there is nothing that I can do with a computer there. So will it still be a strength to me? Yes or no?
No.
No, sir.
Thank you, Janasini. Thank you. No, you said no. Biman also said no. Sam Arpan also said. But you just said that your strength is something that you are good at, no? Then immediately you are changing your statement. You said a strength is something that you can do well. And if you do, if you are good with computers, it must be a strength.
It is also to face the challenges immediately.
Okay. Okay, let me not trouble you longer.
Whether it is required or not, having that extra skill is a strength only, no?
Is it? Is it? That's what I'm asking you. Whether you
Yeah.
can use it or not, if you have it, it is a strength.
I feel that it's yes.
Okay. Okay. I'll give you a similar example. Suppose I am a lecturer. I speak extremely good English, very grammatical, very fluent, very accurate. My English is great. Suppose I'm working in a college where English is not the medium of instruction, and I am not an English teacher, though my English is excellent. Or I am working in a place where tomorrow I go to some other country where nobody knows English, and all my English perhaps is irrelevant to me in that context. So I have a skill. My skill is speaking good English, but I don't think it's a strength there in that situation. I don't know if you agree with me. Do you agree with me? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, thank you. That makes my job very easy. Thank you for everyone. Thank you to everyone who has said yes. Arpan, Vamshi, and Suchitra, and Priya, everybody saying yes. So but that makes my job easy. Now let's take a look at the definition that I have for a strength. So take a look at the screen now. It says a strength is a capability, okay, or a strength is a resource that I have. It can be money, it can be a physical strength, it can be the friends that you have, it can be a good family that you have, it can be a human resource or a physical resource, it can be a building that you have, it can be anything, it can be a car you have, okay, a resource. And the second condition, it must be already with you. It's not something that you're going to acquire tomorrow, or it is not something that you had yesterday, but it is with you now. Now you are equipped with it. Now you have that advantage. Now you speak good English. Now you have good computer knowledge. So it is a skill or a capability or a resource that you have right now with you or within you. It's somebody talked about goodwill and then confidence and all that, no, earlier. So they're all within you. If it's money, it's with you. It's not inside you. It's with you. If it's a good, wonderful, beautiful home, it's with you. So it's a skill or a resource. But the third one is the most important condition. The third one says it must help you achieve your desired goals. What is it that you want to achieve in life? Or what are the professional requirements that you have? What is it that you are expected to do in a certain situation? Does it help you meet that condition, that requirement? Does it help you reach your goal? I want to become an excellent English lecturer. That's my goal. So if I want to become an English lecturer, an excellent English lecturer, and having good English speaking skills is a strength to me. Otherwise, it's just a skill, it's not a strength. There is a slight difference between the two. All skills need not be strengths. Skills are skills. We are very happy with having all skills, as many as possible. But every skill may not help us move. For instance, you are a lecturer in a certain college. You have excellent. Your body is you have excellent physique. You have six packs, for instance, and then that may not help you become a greater lecturer. Of course, that is a great skill or a resource or a strength or whatever that you have, right? So it may not help you go in the direction in which you want to go as far as your academic situation is concerned. So the strengths that you have physically, the strengths that you have intellectually, the strengths that you have mentally, the strengths that you have resource-wise may be completely different. And some of them may help you achieve your goals, and such skills and such resources become your strengths. So let me stop there, and then somebody has a raised hand. I think Shankara Swami, will you please, do you have a question? Shankara Swami?
Sorry, sir. Actually, it is mistakenly
No,
happened.
no problem. No problem. You can drop your hand up there. That's fine. I was telling you that qualities, abilities, skills, resources that we have become our strengths if we are employing them to achieve a goal that we've set for ourselves. Is that clear?
Sir, my doubt is, so a capability or resource or capability, ability, is it having the difference?
Capability and ability, they are one and the same, synonymous.
One and the same. But the strength in what is it having any kind of the index to measure the strength of the people?
Yeah, we have. That's what we are going to do to the rest of the class. So how we are going to measure these trends is what we are going to see during the rest of my class today. Thank you for asking that good question. Any other question? Okay, to move on. So we've just done 3 conditions that are essential to be fulfilled to call something a strength. Number 1, it must be a resource or a skill or some kind of something that you are equipped with already, something you can lay your hands on, something you already possess, something you have within you. Something can be mental, intellectual, physical, whatever. You have it already with you. That's second. And the third condition is it must help you move in the direction of your goal. So if something fulfills these 3 conditions, it's your strength. Right. I think somebody talked about knowledge. You gave lots of examples earlier. All those examples are right if they help you achieve your goals. You talked about knowledge, you talked about your computer skills, you talked about your confidence. Maybe somebody perhaps talked about some financial resources, etc. Right. Let's move on here. I think from the definition that you saw earlier of what strengths are, maybe you can easily make a new definition for what weaknesses are. What are weaknesses? Anybody would like to share?
Which I afraid to do that.
Yeah, it's exactly the opposite of that, but what's it?
So which I afraid to do that, anything that is my
Something
weakness.
that you are afraid of doing. Okay, right.
Or inability to perform it.
An inability to perform. Right. Good, good, good.
Phobia.
It can be a phobia. Again, these are examples, right? It can be an inability. It can be something that's not allowing you to move out of your comfort zone. It can be a phobia.
Hesitations.
Yeah. Yes.
Something which is not in me in current situation.
Wow, lovely. That's good. That's a beautiful development of, what you've seen in the previous slide. So it is something that is internal, right? It's inside you. It's with you already. But unfortunately, it's not allowing you to achieve your goals. Something is inhibiting you. Something is stopping you. You want to go, but that's stopping you. For instance, I don't have, I am a very diffident kind of a, diffidence is the opposite of confidence. So confidence, diffident. Suppose I am diffident. I may have the qualities and the conditions required, but maybe my lack of confidence, what's it doing? It's pulling me back. No, you cannot do that. No, you cannot speak to people. No, you cannot go and address a large audience. No, you cannot be a teacher, right? Something is stopping me. So that quality that is stopping me, a barrier is a wall, right? Which does not allow me to move forward. Okay, so anything that stops you from achieving something that you want to achieve, it prevents you from reaching your goals, is a weakness. So what are the conditions again? It's internal, it's a resource or a talent or a skill or something that you do not have. Okay, somebody says it's not well developed, possible. So something not fully developed, it's not something that is not in a good shape to help you achieve your goal. So an internal barrier, it's not something that is coming from outside. You yourself have created that barrier, something that you do not have. If you do not have money, it's a kind of a weakness, because without money, perhaps you cannot achieve what you want to achieve. Maybe it can be a relationship, it can be a friendship that you do not have, or that it's stopping you from achieving. Right? One or two people are leaving the meeting. I think, I don't know if it's permitted, or maybe if there is some other problem, I don't know who takes care of that. Don't worry about that. So an internal barrier that is preventing you, stopping you from achieving your goals. So far, I think clear. Any questions here? We'll go into details, lots of details later. We're just trying to define these terms so that it will be easier for us to understand the process of analyzing our SWOC. So what are the conditions? Internal, stopping you from achieving something that you lack, or something that you have, but it is negatively working on you. It's working negatively on you. Right. Okay, move on to the third one. Opportunity. Unlike strengths and unlike weaknesses, opportunities are not within you. Opportunities are not already with you. Strengths and weaknesses are acting on you today, right now. You have them, you do not have them. But opportunities are there outside, and they are going to affect you tomorrow. They are going to help you or harm you tomorrow, or right? Not something is going to happen because of something. So it's not you who have created them. The world has created them for you. So it's an external situation which you have very limited control over, or which you hardly have any control over. And because of some reason, it is either harming you or helping you or whatever, and that is outside. So from inside, we have come to outside now. Strengths and weaknesses are inside, opportunities are outside. So what is the definition for an opportunity? An opportunity is an external situation. External means outside you. So whatever is there with you, whatever is there inside you is inside, internal, and whatever is outside you, over which you do not have any control, is an external situation that could provide a competitive. Could means not certain, not compulsory. That may provide you an advantage on condition if you know how to use it. So when it comes, if you know how to open the door, how to accept it, and how to use it, it becomes an opportunity. Otherwise, it just comes and goes. So it's a lost opportunity. Opportunities are very often lost. I think everyone knows about them, how many kinds of opportunities, how many opportunities that each one of us has got in our lives. And because we were not alert, or because we did not know how to use them, we lost them. And there is a saying in English, opportunities do not knock at your door a second time. Lost opportunities are lost forever. Not always, but in some cases. Okay, coming back to this, opportunities are situations outside you. If I can speak good English, and if I am working in an English speaking college or an English medium college, that's a strength to me, because my English helps me become a better lecturer in that college. If I am working in an English medium college, but my English is bad, if I cannot speak good English, that's a weakness, because that's stopping me from achieving whatever I want to achieve. I cannot become a better teacher. I cannot deliver the goods. I cannot help the students. I cannot achieve the targets that I've set for myself. And in fact, I'm harming my students, and all that's happening there because there is a barrier. What's the barrier? My English is bad. But suppose whether my English is good or bad, suppose there is an English coaching institute very close to my home. There is an English teaching institute. They help us improve our English language skills. Or there is somebody who is willing to help me. There is somebody who is willing to improve my English, guide me in my English language speaking skills. It can be a senior teacher, it can be a member of family at home, it can be my television, it can be an institute or whatever. So that's an opportunity, because I did not create that. That institute I did not establish. It's there. If I use it, if I leverage it, if I use it, that's an opportunity. If I don't use it, it's neither an opportunity nor whatever. Nothing. Any questions on this?
Sir, as you said, opportunities and a competitive advantage, right?
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. So,
absolutely.
yeah. So whenever, because sometimes we are having the opportunity, but we are unable to get utilized.
Yeah,
What it
right.
can be called as.
Correct, Sundar. So opportunities are situations that are there. So they need to be leveraged. They need to be used. So the one who uses them takes advantage of them and benefits from them. And the same opportunity may be available to, suppose there is an English teaching institute and there are 1,000 people living in the neighborhood and not everybody is using that. So somebody who is using it benefits from it. I'll give you a better example. Suppose wherever you are working, whatever college or university working, suppose there is a beautiful library. I've been very impressed, a huge collection of very precious and useful books relating to your subject. Okay, so your library is well equipped, and there are 5,000 books on the subject of your teaching, and so that's an opportunity. But when does it become an opportunity? When you go to the library, borrow a book, read it, sit there, or whatever. Otherwise, it's there. The opportunity is there. Just because the opportunity is there, it does not mean that it's going to benefit you. The condition is you must know how to leverage it, how to use it. Suppose this class is going on, some of you might have switched off your mobile audio, many of you have switched off your video, some of you perhaps are not listening to this lecture, or some of you are not interested, maybe some of you are engaged in something else. So this opportunity is not utilized. The opportunity is there. So the opportunity is created for a period of 3 hours, and then the session is created by the university, which is organizing this. So one opportunity has come to your door. So whether you use it or not, it's up to you. But the opportunity has come from outside. You did not create this workshop. So somebody, the government has created, the university has created this, UGC has created this, and is offering it to you. Is that clear, Shankar?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
That
Thank you.
that means, that means opportunity. It is a given environment from where if we take advantage, then it is opportunity. If we can't
Excellent.
take,
Excellent. Thank you very much, Biman, for summarizing that. So, an opportunity is some kind of an external environment, external situation, right there. So, when does it become an opportunity? It becomes an opportunity when I use it. Otherwise, it's just a situation. So, the English Teaching Institute becomes my opportunity when I join in a course there and then begin improve my English language skills. Otherwise, it's not an opportunity, but an institute. There is an institute across the road. So that's an institute only. It is my opportunity to learn if I go there and if I join a course and start making an effort to improve my English language skills. You buy a computer and you keep it at your study table, and it's your opportunity to learn something on your computer. Maybe you are watching a YouTube video for a lesson that you are preparing on tomorrow. Okay, so you have to deliver a lecture and you are gathering some resources for your lesson, and this laptop is a physical resource available to you, which is not within you, but it is with you. So it can be a strength, it can be an opportunity, provided you know how to use it. And we'll also come to those distinctions a little later. So let's move on to the last one. The last one, a challenge. I think that picture clearly indicates what I'm going to drive at. So a challenge again is an external situation. And if you don't do anything, it harms you. Suppose you don't do it, you just hold your hands and then you just sit down like that. It comes and harms your interests, even if you don't do anything. Right? Corona was an example. How were we responsible for that? It was an external situation, just came. In fact, I was sitting at home idly and it just affected me, and then I fell ill and I could not, take up a responsibility that I already had, and whatever, some harm happened to me. Why did it happen? I was not responsible, but maybe I was a little careless. I did not take precautionary care. I did not know how to prevent that, right? I did not do anything, and that's why it affected me. If I had known a preventive measure, how to stop myself from being affected, perhaps I would have said. So like opportunities, challenges also need to be leveraged. properly. You must have a preemptive action, a preemptive strategy. Before it has happened, you must have a strategy to combat that, fight that. If you don't have that, I think you're going to be in trouble. I think, Biman, you have a question?
Yes, sir. Sir, challenges, I think challenges is both external and internal also. Because, for example, sir, if I have ego, if I am egoistic, then I will ask myself, why should I go to him and learn from him like this? So this is also a kind of challenges
For the
to
purpose of
learn.
this study, your ego is your weakness, not a challenge. It's something within you, and you can conquer it if you know a strategy. Nobody has created that ego for you. You created it yourself. You are responsible for that. So, for the purpose of this SWOC analysis, what is there inside you and what is can easily be controlled by you, what you have control over are your strengths or weaknesses, and the things that are happening outside in the world outside and what you have limited control over are your opportunities and challenges. But don't worry too much about that. I think, I mean, we will understand them a little more in course of time. I agree. Right, next, Shankar, you have a question?
No, sir. Actually, a bit confused about the challenge. And
Right, yeah. Can you explain why you are confused?
see, because opportunities and challenges are the external stimuli,
Right.
right? So when those external stimuli, because as of one of my colleague told that whatever internal factors that are inhabited inside, so that are the weakness are that you told. I understood very well, because now, because while I'm writing the project, most of the time they ask the SWAC, so what are the opportunities, what is the weakness. So sometimes we a bit confused while enlisting the some of the statements. In the same way, the challenges and opportunities, the challenges that because to gain those goals we are having some obstacles, I feel.
Okay.
Okay, so according to you, what does it mean?
Yeah, maybe if I explain, maybe further elaborate on an example that I gave you earlier, it will be a little easier for you to understand. I think I work in an English medium college. My English is good. That is a strength. If I'm working in English medium college and I do not have good command over English, my English is bad, then what's it? It's a
Challenge.
weakness. It's a weakness, not a challenge, because my English is bad. I am responsible for that. I have not improved I have not cared to improve my English. I have not done anything to build my English. My English language skills are bad. That's a weakness, right? In that situation, right? So I
Sir,
was telling you
but that weakness challenges me
that
for not
weakness.
doing something. Challenges me.
But
That
I'm
internal.
continuing that. I'm continuing that. Suppose the third situation. So there is an institute around, maybe somewhere in my town, where I can go and join. And what's that in that case? It is, there is an English teaching institute. It's an opportunity. Thank you very much. Thank you. And the last one, my English is good or bad, whatever, but there is no institute in my town. Even if I want to improve my English language skills, there's nobody to teach me. What's that?
Challenge.
That's a
Challenge.
challenge because I am interested in learning. There's no library in the college. There's no sports ground in my college. There are no senior lecturers in my college. And there are many, many other things happening around. The government has made some changes which are going to affect my career tomorrow. And something I would like to do in my life. And then the economic situation has changed. The globe has changed. The environment has changed. A new law has come into force. Something is happening in the outside world, which I am not operating, but I am affected. I did not create, but I am affected, or it may affect me even if I sit quiet. So, without sitting quiet, what should I do? I must do something to overcome. Maybe suppose there is no English teaching institute, I have to think of taking an online course. So, to overcome a challenge, maybe I have because there is no institute, I am going to identify somebody in my college who speaks better English than I do, and then I go to him and ask him, please help me 5 minutes every day, speak to me English. I would like to, because there is no institute here. So because there is challenge, I need to have a preemptive strategy. Is that a little clearer?
Yes, clear, sir, now.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We will understand it still better as we go forward. Thank you very much. These four definitions we have seen, let's quickly review them. The first one was a strength, and I told you strengths are internal and strengths are capabilities or resources. Strengths are positive, green color, help you. And weaknesses, red color, they are internal but barriers, they harm you. And opportunities are external, they can be useful to you tomorrow if you know how to use them. And challenges are external, they can harm you if you don't do anything, if you don't have a proper strategy to overcome. Yeah, to put in summary, so where are the strengths and weaknesses in this picture? Where are the strengths and weaknesses?
Inside the circle.
Both are inside the circle. The circle is you. You are that circle. So both are inside you. Thank you, Priya. So both strengths and weaknesses are inside you. Strengths are green. Weaknesses are red. What does that mean? Strengths are helpful to you and weaknesses are harmful to you. Strengths are inherently good and weaknesses are inherently bad. Okay, and strengths and weaknesses, what do they relate to? They relate to the resources, about your performance, your skills, your abilities, your capabilities, the goals that you have set for yourself, the values that you believe in. So it may relate to anything that relates to you. So not only your physical abilities, but your attitude, your value system, and your goals, your ambition in your life, and all in the case of a teacher. So whatever you have set for yourself as your goals, and if something is helping you and you have it already, that's a strength, and you do not have it, it's a weakness. Now coming to the next two things. So where are these opportunities and challenges? Are they inside the circle or outside?
Outside.
They're outside circle. So
Outside.
correct. They are outside. So because they are outside, you have very limited control over them. So you have not created them. The world has created them. And opportunities are positive, but not today, tomorrow. Tomorrow in the sense, when I use them. And challenges are negative, they are outside. They are potentially bad, not inherently. They are potentially, they happen. So you may go out and then you may take a big risk, and then where there are 5,000 people assembled, all suffering with COVID, and then you may go and come back infected. So it may affect you, but then you have taken a risk when you face a situation like that. Okay, so you are traveling in an accident-prone area. You are lucky in case you've escaped. Somebody might be traveling in a very safe place but still meet with an accident. So there are challenges. Right. So opportunities are potentially good. And what do they relate to? They don't relate to your skills and abilities. They don't relate to your values or ambitions, but they relate to politics. They relate to the global economy or national economy. They relate to legislation. What's happening in the assembly, what's happening in the parliament may affect you. They relate to what's happening in your principal's room, not in your classroom. So something is happening in the principal's room, something is happening in the boardroom, somebody is happening at the UGC. So a new education policy, for instance, is going to come into force very soon, or part of it has already come into force. So when this new education policy comes in, there may be some provisions which are good to you, which may affect you positively and which may affect you negatively. So if it's going to be positive, it's likely to be positive, it's an opportunity. It's likely to be harmful to you, it's a challenge, because you did not create that, UGC created that. Okay, so similarly they may relate to the demographics, the competition. Somebody may mention that it gives you a competitive advantage, a challenge gives you a competitive disadvantage. And they may even relate to politics. A political party, a new political party is elected in your state. So the state chief minister, the state cabinet is formed by a new, suddenly some changes happen. These changes may be favorable to you, may be unfavorable to you. If they are favorable to you, they are opportunities. If they are not, they are challenges. I think some clarity has been achieved by now.
Yes,
So,
sir.
yeah, thank you, thank you. The same thing, a summary of what I've told you so far. So, SWOC analysis is some kind of a situational analysis, and it studies four things. It studies internal strengths and internal weaknesses, and it also studies external opportunities and external challenges. And it also helps you take better decisions and gives you a competitive advantage. So that's what it is. I am going to give you a simple test. You have to write the answer in the chat box. So I'm going to ask you a very simple quiz-like question. And what will you do? You will tell me whether what you see on the screen, what you're going to see on the screen, is a strength or a weakness or an opportunity or a challenge. If it's a strength, write just S. You don't need to write the whole spelling. S means strength, W means weakness, O means opportunity, C means challenge. Are you ready? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful.
So,
Wonderful. So question one comes here. Question one is, okay, just see the question now. The question is, you, anybody, any teacher, left the university 5, 10, 20 years ago, long ago, but you have not updated your or upskilled anything. Whatever you were when you joined as a teacher, you are still the same. Wonderful. I think everybody is writing W, 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 W. I think everybody has got it right. Thank you so much. I think I've received some 12. Abhijit said challenge. Okay, I'll discuss that. Right. W, 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 W. I think I've got some 20 responses already. 19, that's a weakness. And let's discuss. Abhijit, can you switch on your microphone?
Yes, sir.
Abhijit, why do you think it's a challenge?
Sir, because being a teacher, though I have left the university, but still date I didn't felt I have failed to updated me. So it is my challenge to update and upskill my knowledge so that I can serve better. So
Who stopped you from upskilling yourself during these last 10 years? Who stopped you?
Actually, it is in my mindset. If it is so,
That's why. Because it's your mindset, because you are responsible, because the weakness is within, and you did not take this, it is internal. Because it's internal, it's a weakness. Okay, I mean, you need not very bother in case you consider it a challenge, or we are going to look at it from different perspectives. I mean, don't take that too very seriously. But for all practical purposes, with the definitions that we have seen so far, it is a weakness. Why? I mean, easiest definition is because I am responsible for that. Because I had control, or if I wanted in the last 10 years, I could do something to upskill myself, but I did not do. It was my problem. The world did not stop me.
yeah.
Thank you. Right. So let's see the second question. If you're all ready, the same procedure. So you have to tell me whether it is S, W, or O, or C after reading the question. The question is, a new university is looking for experienced teachers like you. In the next city, you are somewhere and then you are working. There is somewhere another college opening, another university opening. They are looking for people like you. Wonderful. I think so far I've received some 12, 13 answers. Everybody says, oh, Priya, Namrata, Sharada, KSG, Bilveshwara, Malovika, Devyani, Jajna Seni, then Farhana, Chang Chuak, and then Cheelam, Rajashri. Everybody has said it's an opportunity. Thank you very much. I think you've understood the definition of what an opportunity is, because you did not create this university. You are just working in your own pace, whatever you are, whatever skills you are, whatever good, bad you are, whatever you are. But there is one university, they are looking for people like you. They want an experienced teacher. I think all of you have already 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, 10 years experience as teachers. And they want experienced teachers. Suppose you are a physics teacher, they say, we are looking for experienced physics teachers with a minimum 5 years of experience. So you are eligible. Good opportunity. Right? Wonderful. Because nobody has given any other answer, there is no need to debate that, I think. Let's go to a slightly more difficult question, the third one. So again, you have to write SWOC, and the question is here. Periodic means once in a while, skills upgradation is going to be compulsory for all in-service teachers. Teachers like you, it's going to be compulsory. Four of you have said challenges. One has said opportunity, and Rajshri said challenge, Arpan challenge, Vijita challenge, Sharada challenge, Shankar weakness. Okay, and then and many others are calling it a challenge. And 3 or 4 Biman says it an opportunity. Malavika also said opportunity. Okay, okay, and Priya says it's a strength. Okay, Priya, will you please explain why is it a strength?
Sir, sir, it's like when we get upgradation of our skills, it will create an opportunity for us in future, and it would add on to our skills, so it will be a strength.
I mean, are strengths present or future?
So
Any
it's
strength
present
that you
only.
have, is it present or future?
It's present as well, and
Strength
in
must
future.
always be present, not something that you're going to acquire, not something you're going to do, but right now, if you already have and it's helping you achieve your goals, is a strength. I gave you the definition. Right. Somebody call it a weakness. Will you please explain why?
Sir, it may be the challenges, I feel.
Why did you call it a challenge? Challenge is okay, but somebody call it a weakness. Challenge I'll discuss.
Yeah, okay.
Who is the one who
So,
called it a weakness? Somebody wrote W. I don't remember who was it.
yeah, yeah.
Who was it who said? I can't see that either. I think it was Shankar Swami. You said that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, don't worry. It could be a mistake. But if you call it a challenge or opportunity, I agree with both of you. Because it depends on your attitude. Some people continuously want to update themselves, upskill themselves, and because the government has made it mandatory, it's going to be compulsory. Oh, I'm excited. Yes, this is an opportunity for me to upskill myself. All these days I neglected. Now that it's compulsory, I'm going to do it. That's an opposite. Some people, oh, already I'm a teacher, I'm drawing a salary, I'm happy with this, and then I'm already good. And why this again new requirement? Why another stipulation? Why one more condition? Do I really need to update myself? Do I really need to learn new things? Do I really need to upskill myself? What's all these conditions? So if you look at it from that point of view, it becomes a challenge. So it can be a challenge or an opportunity depending upon how you look at it, depending on your attitude, depending on your readiness, and other factors. So it is not something that you created for yourself. It is an external situation because the government has made it compulsory. You did not. So the situation is external. It can be positive, it can be negative, depending upon how you look at it. For many, many people, it may be a challenge, especially for those who are not willing to continuously, constantly work further on some academic courses, on some upgradation requirements. You must do a PhD, you must do this diploma, you must make so many presentations, you must publish in 5 journals, and government goes on adding some conditions. So they make so many conditions, intermittently, that it's some kind of uh, an additional burden to some people. If you consider it a burden, it's a challenge. If you feel excited at it, oh, lovely, that's good. So I have to publish in 5 more journals a while. I'll write 5 more papers. So if you look at it like that, it can be. I agree with both of you. Thank you very much. Any questions about this? Good.
No, sir.
Thank you very much. So last one is a very, very tough one. It's a little tricky question, the 4th question. So please don't jump to the answer. Think and let me know. So take 1 minute, no problem. Think and write the answer. The 4th question comes here. The 4th question, again, you have to write S or W or O or C. And the question is, your personal library is something that you have at home, have certain books, maybe 100 books. But your colleagues people working in the same department, in the same college, they have many more books than you have. You have 100 books, they have 500 books. What's it? Abhijit says it's a strength. Oh, how can it be a strength? I don't know. Okay, right. Liman says it's an opportunity. Shankar says weakness. Rajastri S. Vamshi Krishna O. Lal Mangai says C. And KSG Bilvesha says W. Farhana says C. Arpan says W. Shakuntala says C. Mohammed Mubin opportunities. Priyas challenges. Mallappa opportunities. Suchitra challenges. And Rajashri, sorry, sir, W, okay, no problem. Absolutely. I'm very happy that you are re-looking at it. Upender challenges, Malavika, W, because you need to buy more. Okay. Is it compulsory to buy more? Okay, no problem. Abhijit says, sorry, again, I'm very happy that you are reconsidering your answers. You are taking a second look at them. You are thinking. In fact, I told you, I gave you a warning that you need to be a little more careful before you answer. Okay, let's take a little time. Let's spend some little time on discussing this. Yagna Seni, would you like to say something? Yagna Seni, I can't hear you. There is some disturbance there, I think. Anyone else? Whatever answer you've given, will you please tell us why you thought it was whatever you wrote?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes, Biman.
That if the library has
what was your answer, Biman?
Opportunity, sir.
Why do you think it's an opportunity?
If the library has less volume of books, I have an opportunity to collect from my colleagues the book and take this. I can read from taking books from my colleagues also. So this is an opportunity.
That's a great idea. So instead of feeling worried that you don't have no books, you can always go to your friends because they have more books. You can borrow from them and you can read them and return them. That's wonderful. I appreciate that. I mean, the way you have looked at it. Yes, I agree with you. Anyone else?
Sir, it's me, sir.
Arpan, yes. What was your answer?
So my answer was weakness, sir. Sir, that's because you have mentioned that they are colleagues, right, sir? That means we are colleague means we have the same pay grade or something, like we have the same base. So they have more books and I don't have. That means what? So it's my weakness. I didn't buy books because my colleagues have way more books than mine, sir.
Okay, so
that
because you
library,
have fewer books than them, you think it's a weakness.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. Somebody else? Anyone who called it a challenge?
Okay.
It is a challenge, sir.
Hello? Yes. Yes, Yagnishan.
It is a challenge because I also want books, but my colleagues are taking that books. So I face problem. I will buy, but I will buy one book, two book, but major books I cannot buy. So that it is a challenge. Many foreign author books it is also not available in market, which are available in our old books in our library. So that it is a challenge for me.
Right. Okay, I agree. Somebody called it a strength. Who was it? I need to see it, I think. Somebody, who was it that called it a strength? I think it was Rajashri Baguhen.
No, sir, I read the question wrong the first time.
Huge.
And I corrected my answer.
No problems. Thank you. I'm very happy those who changed their stand and then re-looked at it. I mean, they are thinking. It proves that, I mean, they are looking at it from other angles also, other perspectives also. And I mean, that's a great idea. I love it. Okay, let me just give my opinion about that. In my opinion, it's neither a strength, nor a weakness, nor a challenge, nor an opportunity. It's nothing actually. Because actually the statement itself is irrelevant to us. First of all, this statement does not say what kind of book. Suppose I have 100 books that are absolutely relevant to what I am doing as a teacher. Somebody else has 500 books that are all novels. I did not tell you whether they are good books, bad books, useful books, irrelevant books, whatever. I did not tell you. The second possibility, suppose I have 100 good books and they have 500 good books. What am I doing with them? I have 100 books and then I read them every day, and somebody has 500 books and he just has them in a showcase and he never opens them, never reads them. I did not tell you enough. I did not give you enough information. So actually this statement is just a statement, that's all. It has nothing to do with our SWOC. So there are many such situations which directly do not impact us. So what I do with my 100 books, if they are relevant to my academic career, is what makes it either a strength or weakness. It is not a relative term. SWOC is not a relative term. He is like this, I am like this. It's not that. So what am I? What are the 100 books that I have? Are they my subject books? Do I read them? And if I read them, are they upskilling me? Are they helping me achieve my goal? So depending on all that, it becomes whatever it is. Just because somebody has 5,000 books in the Almirah, and I mean, it's not a comparison. But still, I'm very happy that you all thought about it and then you gave your own interpretation and whatever. So I'm very happy. What I'll do is I'll give you, I'll post a link to a handout. Once again, I'll just try if I can do that. I think I'll go here. Once again, just give me a moment. Does anybody know how to post a handout in Google Meet?
I think there's an option of attachment, sir, in Google Meet.
I'm not able to find it. Zoom, I know. Actually, in Zoom, it's very easy. I can go to the chat box and then I can send it. Don't worry. Okay, leave it.
In chat box also, you can just post the link, sir. That's also possible.
Okay. It's a document, so I do not have a link to it ready. So I want to post the document directly. Need not worry. Fine. No, don't worry. So maybe what I'll do is, maybe I think this print is too very small. Maybe I'll read out one or two of them for you. Like the previous one, we can discuss them. I'll go to the last one, 14th one. You have many bright students in your class and they admire your commitment as a teacher. Is it a strength or weakness or whatever it is? Mallappa, I would like Mallappa to answer this question. Question 14. You cannot see it on the screen. I'm reading it for you. You have many bright students in your class and they admire your commitment. Is Mallappa there? Mallappa Daragat, can you unmute yourself? Others are answering the question in the chat box. Happy? Thank you. Mallappa is not there, it seems.
So he has replied in the chat box, I think.
Has he? Yeah.
Yes,
Mallappa has said yes, strength. Thank you. That's good. Okay. I was waiting for him to answer the question orally. Fine. No, everybody has said it is strength. I agree with all of you. Yes, it is a strength because because there are bright students in my class, though they are not physically inside me, because there are resources available with me, I can use them to further enhance my teaching potential, and they all are admirers of mine, and they know that I am a committed teacher. I think this is a very positive situation for me to improve as a teacher. That's why it's a strength. I agree with all of you. Shall we go to the seventh one? There are many well qualified, trained, and unemployed youth in your neighborhood. Number 6. There are many well qualified, trained, and unemployed youth in your location, in your locality.
Opportunity.
How is it an opportunity? Shankar, will you please say? Will you please explain how is it an opportunity?
When unemployed persons, sir, in so it is when unemployed persons are there, we can take an as an opportunity to give the employment to them within
You are
low
a
wages.
lecturer. You are not a principal of a college. You are not owning.
Okay, lecturer, right? I forgot, sir. I forgot
Okay,
to tell.
okay, right. So because you are a lecturer now, so if there are unemployed people with the same kind of qualifications that you have, or maybe higher qualifications than you have, they are a kind of a challenge to you. So tomorrow they may also apply for a job, and the management may say, "Oh, because there are young people available for willing to work for a lower salary and longer hours, we would like to have them. Why should we have you? Okay, please leave." I mean, if you are working in a private college or if you are working in a same contract position, this is possible because younger people with greater qualifications, higher qualifications, and bigger commitment. So it is likely to be more a challenge than anything else. Of course, Shankar, I agree with you. In case you have a college and then you would like to appoint new people, that's your opportunity. Fine, good. We'll see one more and stop there. Mm, this which one? We'll see the 13th one, which directly may not be relevant to your academic point, but still, the 13th one says your spouse, husband or wife, is cooperative and appreciates your work demands and time constraints. You're working in a college and then 14 hours you're away, 12 hours you're away, and she understands you, he or she, and she helps you, he helps you, and then you have a supportive husband or wife.
Strength.
Thank you very much. All of you have said strength. I agree with
Strength.
all of you.
Strength.
Yes. Because though some of you may say, "Sir, my wife or husband is not in me." You said it must be within you. It's not within, but it's a part of you. It's yours already. So now you have that strength because your spouse is supportive to you. You can work better and you can achieve your goals easier. Imagine a situation where your family is not very supportive. Nobody takes care of your child. Nobody cooperates with you. Nobody appreciates the wonderful work that you're doing. And some such issue is there at home. So it can be serious issue. But luckily, you have a very supportive spouse, and that is a strength. Thank you very much. I think we'll stop there. All those. I wanted to share that handout with you, but maybe if possible, I'll give it to you at the end of it. Otherwise, I'll send it to the university and I'll ask them to post it for you in your WhatsApp group. Okay, I told you there are 3 parts in my presentation. The first part I think I've finished, and let's move on to part 2. The part 2 of my presentation is why SWOC analysis. Right? Before I show you this slide, would you like to tell me why should we do any SWOC analysis of ourselves? Academic SWOC, teacher SWOC? Any reason?
For better performance.
If you know your SWOC, you perform better. Okay, good. Thank you.
To improve ourselves.
Thank you again, Mallappa. To improve ourselves.
For an assessment of ourselves.
It also helps us assess ourselves. Yes, we will know where we are. Right, Rajeshri, thank you. A few more answers. To assess us, Shakuntala also agrees with that. Jeelam says to assess ourselves and the institution also. Yes. SWOC analysis can be done for individuals or organizations. Jeelam says.
To do some course corrections and to mold or change ourselves.
I like it very much, Vamshi. Thank you very much for saying that. It helps you do some kind of course correction. So you are going a certain way. If you know what are the impediments, what are the roadblocks, what are the barriers that are there in your way, perhaps you can have an alternative strategy, plan B. Thank you. Self-assessment for betterment. I think you're all very bright teachers. Lovely, wonderful answers. Good. Let me show you my answers. I have already written 4 words there: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and challenges. How an analysis helps us is what we are going to see. If I know what my strengths are, because they are already my strengths, I already have them, I can further build on them. I speak good English and I can further build my English. I am here, I've already scored 100 marks, and then still there is one area. Maybe my English grammar is good, my English pronunciation is not good. Now I can score 100 marks in my pronunciation also. I do this very well. I have a great skill in doing this. I create wonderful PowerPoint slideshows. I know this is my strength, creating good impressive and attractive and meaningful slideshows is a teacher skill. Suppose I have great skill at it. My slideshows are most sought after. Suppose I'm good at it. So I know my strength now. Now I can further explore the possibilities around, and then I can learn new skills, because I know this helps me know that I'm good at it. If I do something I'm good at, I excel easily. If I do something I love doing, the chances of my success are much brighter and better. So people love to do things that they are good at, isn't it? I think all of us, we love doing what we are good at, and by doing it again and again and again, we further improve. Then suppose we know our weaknesses. Once we know our weaknesses, we have a strategy to overcome them. My English is bad, so I must do something to improve my English. How do I do that? Of course, there are possibilities. So the moment I know, oh, my score in English was only 40 out of 100, and I have a lot of scope to improve, and because that's a barrier, because my bad English is not allowing me to progress further in my career, so I need to do something. That's so I know my weakness. Knowing weaknesses is the beginning of success in life, right? Then if I know my opportunities, so what are the opportunities? I look around, I take stock of the situation around, and then once I know these are the opportunities, there is an institute here, there is a book here, there is a person here, there is a resource here, there is something here happening, there is something here that's likely to happen. The government is going to do that, some other country is going to do that, some other thing is going to happen somewhere else. If I know that, if I'm constantly aware by reading a newspaper, watching TV, talking to people, right, becoming aware of what's happening in the outside world, so I'll be ready to exploit that opportunity. The opportunity sometimes is known to us even before it has arisen. Apple iPhone 14 is still not there, but we know its features. We know it's going to come tomorrow. It's going to be there in the market very soon. So if I know that opportunity has not knocked at my door yet, but I'm already ready. I've already, gathered money for it, and I'm ready. I've read the specifications. I already know how to use it. Some such thing. So maybe you have to teach a new course in your college. Maybe the college is going to introduce a new course next year. They tell you, okay, next year we are going to start a new combination or a new course or some such thing. Suppose you are working in a graduate college and your principal tells you, okay, next year we're planning to start a postgraduate course in our college. So that's your opportunity, because you begin working now. If you like it and if you want to equip yourself with that, so the opportunity sometimes gives you a trace of an idea that it's going to knock at your door tomorrow, and you are prepared for that. Exploit it. Right. Then the challenges. So I told you already that challenges should make you preemptive. Preemptive means opposite of reactive. So before something has happened, you must have a strategy to overcome that. So you have not fallen sick, but you are taking some good food, and maybe you are doing some good exercise to keep your body fit so that you don't fall sick tomorrow. My own personal case, I did not take much care of my spine when I was young, and then I have developed a backache as I grew up. By the time I was 50 or 55, I already had a backache because I used to sit very, what do you call that? Not in the right for my posture was not good.
Bad posture.
Back posture was not good, and
Slouch.
so I bought it myself. So because I did not take any preemptive measures, I had a problem. Somebody has become a diabetic because perhaps that person did not take enough care preventively. So the challenge is that you are likely to be a diabetic if you don't do this or if you do this. Do some things, don't do some things, you are likely to have this problem. If you don't update yourself, you don't upskill yourself, or if you do this, if you do that, these are the challenges that are likely to pounce upon you. Hidden, they suddenly come and pounce upon you. Some of them are known, they are likely to happen. Okay, so you can survive the challenges if you have a strategy. So these are the four. In addition to these four, you can be proactive. Proactive means before something has happened, you have the action plan ready. Proactive is opposite of reactive. Reactive means after the situation has arisen, you go and then you think of after the fire has broken, you call the fire engine. That is reactive. But you have a fire engine ready at home, you have a fire station ready, you have a firefighting equipment ready. There is no fire yet. So that is proactive. So in life also, we have that firefighting system in our bodies, in our skills, in our systems, in our career, something. If that happens, I'm ready. If this college is closed, I have an alternative plan. If I don't have to teach the subject that I am teaching now, and suddenly asked to teach some other related subject, I'm ready. If the software that I'm teaching now tomorrow becomes completely obsolete and no longer in demand, some other new software is going to be taught in colleges tomorrow, I'm ready for that. So the challenge is that I need to switch over to a new system, a new course, a new language, a new equipment, a new technology, etc. I taught in a graduate college maybe for about 36 years, but that was long ago. I retired from service 13 years ago. I am 70 years old now. So when I was teaching before, maybe some 7 or 8 years before I retired, there was a new concept called English Language Laboratory. All of you are familiar with that, I think. But those days it was not. So that was the first time that it had come into the market. So what happened? So we were not ready, and teachers were not trained. The software was available, but the colleges were given, and then still the teachers were not trained. That's why the equipment was there, the software was there, but people were not there to use it. It was just lying there in some colleges, in many colleges. So like that, situations may arise where things may become challenges if you're not ready to face them. You must have a proactive policy. And finally, the last thing is, SWOC analysis helps you take better decisions. So if you know what your SWOC is, it helps you take, oh, I'm not good at it, so let me go here. I'm very good at it, so let me go in this direction. This is likely to happen, so let me move in this direction. It's likely to happen, let me avoid that direction. So if I know my SWOC, it helps me take the right decision and take the right path and go the right way. The picture on the left side, I think you can see this. This is a picture of what? A pawn on a chessboard climbing up to become a queen. So can every pawn become a queen? Do you know chess?
Yes, it can become a queen.
Yes, it has the potential. Every pawn has the potential to become a queen, but it does not mean that every pawn is going to become a queen. Every pawn has the potential. Every teacher can become the best teacher. Every teacher can become perhaps a vice chancellor. Every teacher can become the education minister. He has the potential. But lots of things, can happen in between. In that direction, one route may kill you, and then you may go off the board, or you may not get the opportunity to climb up, and then lots of things can happen. So the powers seem to be limited. Where you are, right, when you are at the bottom here, you may think that your powers are limited, but you have an enormous potential to go beyond what people think you are capable of, provided you know what your situation is, what your strengths are. What are your strengths? You can move straight forward. You can kill any powerful enemy. A pawn is a small thing on the chessboard, but it can kill a rook. It can kill even the queen, right? So it is all powerful. If it looks within, it knows its strengths, but it also is very weak because it can move only one step ahead, and then it has some limitations, right? So that's its weakness, but opportunity is plenty. Challenges also are plenty. So in the case of chess, it needs a little luck, and it also is the skill of the one who is playing the game, not the pawn itself. The pawn itself cannot play. The pawn is used by the player to move ahead. But in the case of our lives, it's we who are playing our own lives. So we are the pawns who are moving ahead. So as pawns, if we are moving ahead in the right direction, taking care of the challenges ahead, and then utilizing the opportunities that we have, knowing our strengths and weaknesses, if we make the right steps in life, we have a very, very bright future. Is my
Yes,
screen
sir.
visible to you?
Yes,
Good.
sir. Yes, sir.
Good. So let's move on.
Yes,
So we are going to the last part of the presentation. How are we going to do this? The easiest answer to the question, in case you want me to give just one answer to that question, is ask yourself as many questions as possible, relevant, as many good, relevant questions, the right questions. The more questions you ask yourself, the more reflective you become. And once you become reflective, you are doing your SWOC analysis. So what is SWOC analysis? SWOC analysis is looking within, looking outside. So what's with me? What's not with me? What's outside available? What's outside not available? This is a situational analysis. So keep your eyes open, keep your mind alert, and then be aware of what's happening around, and then take stock of things that impact you directly or indirectly today or tomorrow, and that is your SWOC analysis. So how do we go about it? First, let's see. In case I want to know my strengths, I have here on the screen a list of questions. So if you ask yourself these questions, every answer that you get to each one of these questions is your strength. Clear? So answers to these questions are your strengths. Question 1, for instance, what are I'm sorry, what are the skills, are the qualifications that are unique to you? There are 10 people working in your department. You have some additional skills. You can teach a certain subject better than others. You have a certain qualification to teach something, and others perhaps do not have that same qualification. It can be a resource, it can be a skill, it can be a talent, it can be an endowment, anything that you have, something that you already have, and that can very positively work with you, and it's already with you. And because you already have this skill, you already have this qualification, you already have this merit, and you already have this knowledge. So for instance, there is one topic in the subject that you teach which you are very highly competent in. You are absolutely thoroughly knowledgeable about that. Because you are unique in that situation, it is your strength. I mean, all the other questions also, you can take a look at them, or if you want, you can take a screenshot of that. I'm also going to share this slideshow with you, and you can see this later also. I think the fourth one, for instance, what do people praise you for? Very often, if you are good at something, your students might praise you, your family might praise you, your friends might praise you. So suppose 10 students come to me and tell me, sir, your English is very good. Not one student. If just one student tells me, maybe I cannot immediately take it on the face value. But if quite a lot of students tell me, sir, you speak good English, so maybe I have a strength there. I realize, oh, because 10 of them told me, because many of them told me, there is some truth in that. It's not flattery. It's not for any ulterior motive, but because they have given me this feedback. I mean, all good teachers must have the habit of collecting feedback on their classes, either formal or informal, written or oral, whatever. So as you have this feedback, it helps you gradually improve yourself. But the good feedback that you get, you are good at it. I mean, you are extremely competent in this area. So these are the areas in which you have further scope to excel. So in case people are praising you for something, automatically, especially at home, if your children praise you for something, children typically are very, very frank and fair in their judgments. So if you allow them to speak to their mind and they praise you for something that you do well, it's great. Similarly, what achievements are you proud of? Something that you've already achieved, your scholarships, your merit, your certifications, the diplomas that you've made, earned, and any other academic competencies that you have. For instance, you have very simple language. Your language is very simple and it's easy for your students to follow. Great. That's wonderful. So you have the ability to make complex things simple. Some teachers are not like that. Some teachers make simple things complicated. Unfortunate. I had many teachers like that. But luckily, we also had good teachers who made very highly complex things. You are teaching economics, you are teaching physics, you are teaching maybe astronomy, maybe many other things which are perhaps a little more difficult to teach than other subjects. So in case you are teaching a subject and then you have the knack of making very highly complicated things simple, easy, some 4 bulleted points, right? Instead of, going too very profoundly into the topic, suiting the level of your students. So if you make them understand it very good, I think you have a strength there. The strength is your ability to make complicated things simple so that your students understand it, and in turn you become a better teacher. Your objective is to become a better teacher, right? Any unique resources that you can access, others do not have, and you have. Even if it's not unique, if you have resources with you, academic resources, financial resources, family resources, human resources, a good mentor, for instance, suppose you have a very good mentor, that can be an opportunity also, it can be a strength also, right? So I think the next screen tells you, or it gives you a list of strengths that teachers, or for that matter, any human being can have. I mean, there's a long list, and it's not a comprehensive list. It's just a sample list. Some strengths. Suppose a teacher is cheerful, so it's in the second screen, second column. So if a teacher is cheerful, it comes in handy. A cheerful teacher is always a little more successful than a morose, dull-looking, and always very sad-looking teacher. I mean, it's easier to deliver the goods in your class. The students become a little more friendly, and they love you, and then they come closer to you. They build the bonds with you, and they love listening to you. They love learning from you. So, I mean, this is a kind of an attribute, and you can develop that. You can further develop that. If you're already cheerful, it's great. If you're not cheerful, if you realize that you're not cheerful, you can build on that. That becomes your weakness, and you can build on your weaknesses. You can overcome your weaknesses. Suppose you are energetic. Suppose you have very good health. Of course, luckily, at your age, every teacher perhaps is very healthy, provided you take basic some safety precautions of your health. If you get some good sleep, if you eat carefully, and if you do a little exercise, and then if you take care of your body, so you can afford to be very highly. Imagine a teacher who comes to class and then not all energetic, he is so very dull, and then physically, I mean, unenergetic, and then how does how do you think that class will go? You can recall some teachers who were not quite energetic. They used to sit in one place or stand in one place. They never moved about the class. They never came closer to you, and they moved away from the class and then stood there all the while. Or some teachers stood only near the board, and then so that kind of a teacher perhaps was not as popular, as successful as somebody who was absolutely physically fit and energetic in the class. So your physical energy is indirectly impacting the reception levels of your students, right? So your fluency, your adaptability, your creativity, your artistic nature, open-mindedness. So students sometimes give you very, very different viewpoints. For instance, today also when I asked you questions, students gave, I mean, multiple points of view. The teacher must know, the teacher must have a knack of handling all these points of view. So a little appreciation here, a little discussion here, a little pat on the shoulder there. I mean, they are going to make a lot of difference to your class. So these are attributes you can add to the long list. You can add any number of them. What you can do is you can take 2 minutes time, and you can identify some 2 or 3 which are really very good at. I think you consider these your strengths, and sir, I'm extremely positive and optimistic. That's my strength. Suppose you believe that that's your strength, you can just identify. I mean, not with it, because that's a long list. You can identify some 2 or 3. I'll remain silent for the next 1 or 2 minutes. Please do it quietly. And after you've identified them, you can also write in the chat box 1 or 2 or 3, as many as you want. Can I have some answers on the chat box now? Yahya Khan, would you like to say something?
No, sir. It was an internet problem.
No. Right. I think the answers have begun coming. Mohammed Mubreen says he's energetic, self-confident, and unbiased. Good. And Naga Harshita says humble, imaginative, and responsible. You must also be ready to explain to me, why do you think you have that skill or that ability or the strength or whatever? For instance, if you say you are energetic, what makes you believe that you are energetic? Did your students tell you, or do you believe it yourself, or you just arrive at that conclusion objectively or subjectively? Naga Harshita said she's humble. So how do you know that you are humble? What made you believe that you are humble?
Whenever I, hello?
Yes, please.
Whenever I am taking my classes, I never use like chair to sit. I always engage my
Great.
student and I reach
Excellent.
them and ask questions and actively participates with the students. That's why I'm
Excellent.
saying that I'm energetic and self-confident is
Excellent, Bobby.
why because whenever I'm going in my classes, I know that I can able to explain and everyone can understand and maximum can understand.
Wonderful.
Unbiased ki I never thought ki that they are poor or average or intelligent, so that I cannot I take everyone equally, and that's why I have written these things.
Wonderful, Bobin. I think your explanation is very, very convincing. And I'm very happy that you have these qualities in abundance. Maybe you have many, many other qualities because I asked you to write only two or three. You have stopped there. Naga Harshita, how do you know that you are humble?
Oh, sir, sir, I feel I'm humble, and I also, so many people said that I'm extremely humble. So even I feel that I'm humble, sir, because if I did any work successfully, also I never agreed. I used to say that it's a teamwork, even in office or even at personal work or anywhere. So I feel so, sir.
Priya, Namrata, how do you know that you are friendly? Who told you you are friendly?
So the students, when I asked the feedback, and they said like you are very understanding, and then you are so friendly, so that we can express whatever we are going through while studying. So this was told to me by my students.
Great, great, wonderful. I think all of you know some minor difference between being friendly and being a friend. Should teachers be friendly or should teachers be friends of students?
Friendly, sir.
We should not be friends with them. We should be friendly with them. Being friends is different. Being friends means, I mean, they'll take too much liberty with that. They'll sit on our shoulders and they'll invite us to a canteen and they may offer us a cup of tea and then they may smoke in front. I mean, it will go beyond maybe some parameters, limits that way. Being friendly is different. So being friendly means being approachable, being sociable, mixing up with them, knowing them, understanding them, listening to them. That's being friendly. So teachers must be friendly with students, right? Rajeshri says she's good at most of the qualities. That's great. I appreciate all. Maybe some others need a little more time to plan. Perhaps it's okay. Don't worry. We'll move on. So these are some sample strengths from teachers like you with whom I talked in the past. So when I did the same lesson in other colleges, I asked them to write down a list of the strengths that they have, academic strengths. So some teachers gave me, I made a summary of that, and then here are they. I'll just, can anyone read them out? I don't know if you can see the screen. Let me know, check. Uh, Rajeshri, can you read them on the screen?
Sure, sir. The first one is I have a passion for teaching. Two, I have excellent communication skills. Three, I have good interpersonal skills. Four, I am a graduate in teaching methods. Five, I have good critical or analytical skills. Six, I have plenty of loyal students. Seven, I have a rich personal life.
I think there is noise behind you. Don't worry, you can switch off your microphone. So I'll read the rest of them for you. I have plenty of work experience. I have a rich personal library. I have supportive academic mentors in my college or outside. I am young and healthy, and I have a caring family. All these are maybe the last one is not directly academic, but still it can be indirectly academic because it may help you achieve more as a teacher. The other things are directly relevant to your success as a teacher, and if you have these qualities, they are your strengths. And these are the examples given by other teachers like you, so in other colleges, and you can make a list of your own, and you can also add to this list. You can identify your own stage. This is a little reflection. If you ask the previous questions that I showed you, these questions and the answers can be listed to add to your strengths. Okay. Yeah, I'll stop here and then I'll go on to the weaknesses. Suppose I want to know my weaknesses. What questions do I ask myself? So here are some questions that help me know my weaknesses. So every answer to every question here is a weakness of mine, and I find opportunity there for me to improve. So I can overcome these weaknesses if I have a strategy. Okay, so what are the questions? The questions are, What skills or knowledge or resources do you lack? There is something that you do not have. It can be a skill that you do not have. It can be, for instance, you are a teacher and you are handling very large classes. You do not have a very loud voice. So it does not mean that you must have a loud voice in all the professions. But as a teacher, you need to have a loud voice in case your classes are very large and then it's difficult to reach them. If you do not have a loud voice, so you have a weakness there. Your voice goes screechy, right? That's a problem with you. If a language is not very fluent, you have a problem there. And your confidence is very low, you have a problem there. Your knowledge is very shallow. So maybe you did not dig deep into your books and then you were not a real scholar in your subject and then your subject knowledge is superficial. If students ask you questions and you cannot face them, you cannot answer them, that's going to be a weakness with you. Other even non-academic things like if you do not have enough money, if you come from a very poor family, if you do not have a great library, if you do not, these kinds of things that you do not have. For instance, if you're avoiding doing something, I remember lots of occasions when principals ask you to conduct a public meeting or take care of the annual day celebration, or maybe receive a guest from outside, or maybe go and see the district collector for some college related event, some such thing. So when things happen and then suppose you avoid, no sir, I won't do this, I cannot do this, I'm not good at this, maybe please ask somebody else. So when you are avoiding doing something, a certain subject, when I was a teacher long ago, there were colleagues in my department who never wanted to do a certain portion of the subject. So this lesson I will not do, you do this, I'll do the other lesson. So they had some choice there. They never wanted to do a few of the lessons. So why? Because they were not very confident with him. So they did not have, they thought, actually they were equally potential perhaps, but they thought that they could not do them well. So in case you are avoiding doing something, you have a weakness there. Similarly, what are your negative work habits? So there are teachers who come late to class, who are not properly organized, who are not punctual, who are not regular, who do not know how to even place things in their cupboards and in their study tables. Some people are so very ill organized, every day they are searching for everything. So even an organization, good organization skill is a strength. An inability to organize or a bad habit of not organizing things can be a weakness. I know people who search for things even in their body. They don't know where they kept their pen, where they kept their purse. They all the time they are searching all over their bodies. So that kind of bad work habits, bad time management, bad interpersonal relations, all these can be weaknesses. And you are responsible for them. When we're talking about strengths and weaknesses, all the time, we are responsible for them. We can change them if we want. And it's not because somebody else has pushed them on us, but we did not, acquire them, or we acquired them the wrong way. So these are some disadvantages that we have, and these can be our weaknesses. So here is a list of some typical weaknesses that teachers have, academic weaknesses, and there's a long list of them. For instance, if a teacher is rude, arrogant, rude, and unhelpful, not very sociable, unfriendly. So it is going to stand some kind of a barrier. The way you build a bond with the students becomes impossible because of your attitude of being rude. So we have to be conscious of what we are able to do, what we are not able to do, what we are good at, what we are not good at, and continuously have a strategy to build on them. So if a teacher is closed-minded, for instance, what does it mean? Closed-minded means you don't accept a different point of view. Teacher says something and the students have an argument or have a counterpoint of view, or they have some disagreement on that. They have a different point of view on that. And suppose you say, shut up, sit down, I don't accept this. No, that cannot be true. That must not be true. And whatever I say is true, especially, at the lower classes, some teachers are like that. So they don't accept anything other than what they say and what they believe to be true. So that kind of closed-mindedness can be a great weakness. a complaining nature. So there are teachers who complain about everything. This is not good. This is not good. This does not work. These students do not learn. This college is like this. This principal is like this. This textbook is nonsense. I mean, they have a complaining nature. So they find everything bad. I mean, they are neither flexible nor compromising nor willing to accept what's given them. And the moment you give them something, they find a fault in that. So that complaining nature is something within. It's not because of outside. So you have developed that complaining nature. So that is internal. And what's happening because of that complaining nature, you're not able to achieve your goals. So whatever you want to, wherever you wanted to go. And that's why it is a weakness. Like that, similarly, there are lots of others. Maybe you need not tell me, you need not write in the chat box, but you can take 1 or 2 minutes and identify a few from this list which you think are your weaknesses. I'll not trouble you by asking you to list them for me. You need not write them and you need not tell me unless you really want to. But you can just identify, you can take a look at the whole list. What is shallow? Will anybody explain? Shallow is not cynical. No.
Mere surface level information.
Sorry?
Mere surface level information about anything.
Yeah, very, very, I mean, superficial and not deep knowledge of things is shallow. Shallow means not deep. Opposite of deep is shallow. Thank you, Shino. Shallow is an antonym.
I was just stating one of the weaknesses I might have.
Please.
That's what I had written in the chat box, sir.
Oh, good. Okay. Some people do not like to share their weaknesses. That's why I did not insist on that. Okay, right. Acha, you were giving a list. You were giving an act. Right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But I think that's a very terrible kind of a weakness that can hurt you a lot in the long run, and you must develop a very positive attitude to things. If you by chance are cynical, I think you need to have a strategy to overcome that. What is stubborn? Does anybody know the meaning of this word stubborn?
Adamant.
Adamant, yes. Adamant, unyielding, and whatever I said is right. That's all. I don't want to change. So an unwillingness to change, unwillingness to accept some other point of view is stubbornness. So teachers must not be stubborn. Teachers must not be obstinate. So I mean, there are times, even if you think and if you believe that what you said is right, there are ways of negotiating with people. There are ways of convincing people. There are ways of putting forward your point of view without being rude and stubborn. So even when people prove that you are wrong, you still stick to your point of view, stick to your guns. That is stubborn. Thank you so much. Let's move on. So somebody is aggressive. Chino, do you say you are aggressive or you are pointing out one of the points there?
Yeah, I'm told that I am aggressive. I don't know whether I'm really aggressive.
Yeah, good. If your student said that, and then if you accept it in the right spirit, I think that's a great beginning. I'm absolutely sure that you will not need long time to overcome that. So knowing is the beginning, and working towards our goal becomes very easy if I know where and what I lack. So where am I weak and what do I lack? If I know this, I think it becomes excellent. It becomes very easy for me. You might know, especially sports persons. So the cricketers, the other players. So they're constantly told he is weak in this. He has this problem. He cannot do this. He cannot raise the ball like this. He cannot throw it like this. He cannot hit it like this. So the moment you know what your weaknesses are, and it becomes very easy for you to design a strategy for you, especially boxing and other things. Very carefully watched, very closely watched, and then there are people to give you a lot of good feedback. You're doing this way, and that's why you're not winning. You must do it this way to win this. So similarly, as teachers also, we must ask, why are not my classes not very successful? Why I'm not able to achieve what I want to achieve through my classes. So why am I not able to give everything that I wanted to give my students and benefit them? So there is something going wrong somewhere. What is that? Is it my physical energy? Is it my attitude? Is it my short-temperedness? Is it my behavior? So there is something that's going wrong with that. So like in a relationship. So if a family relationship is going wrong, so we must sit down, discuss things, and check what are a few things that we do not like about each other, and we can always find a way to go get out of that. Similarly, a classroom situation also. So if I know my weaknesses, I can plan a strategy to work on them. Right. Again, these are a few sample weaknesses I collected from teachers. So when I talked to them, they gave me, I compiled a list of them. And what did teachers say? May I ask somebody to read them out? Shinod, can you read them?
Which part? The entire slide?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Teaching was not my first priority. Second, I have limited subject knowledge. Third, I have no teaching experience. Fourth, I'm not familiar with teaching methodologies. Five, my English is not perfect. Six, I'm lazy. Seven, my attention span is short. Eight, I'm low in self-esteem. Nine, I am annoyed with difficult questions. 10, I spend a lot of time commuting.
The last one again is not directly academic, but maybe it can impinge your academic performance. My house is far away from the college. I have to spend 1.5 hours coming and 2 hours going, and my whole time is going in that. By the time I come to college, I feel tired, and after going back home, I feel so tired that I hit the bed and I do not have time to prepare for the next day. So this is a physical discomfort, physical inconvenience, but this can impact your classroom performance. So I considered it a weakness. But the other things you can see, for instance, if you say, I have no teaching experience, I am new to teaching. So naturally, my confidence level will be very low and my performance may take a beating on that. I'm lazy. That's a work culture. That's a work habit. So even your habits can be weaknesses or strengths. So your work habits. So if you're regular, if you're punctual, uh, Viman says the first one I have. Teaching was not for my first priority. So whether see, there is a saying in English: either you must get a job that you like, or you must like the job that you get. So if you like the job that you get, great. So because you wanted to be a teacher and you are a teacher, excellent. But suppose you're not interested in being a teacher, you wanted to become a police officer, you wanted to become a fireman, you wanted to become a district collector, but by chance, because you did not get those jobs, or by any other chance you became a teacher. Now there is no other go. So you cannot afford to harm your students' interests. See, suppose I know that I'm a bad teacher or I cannot improve my teacher abilities and my teacher skills are very low. The best thing that I must do is, I mean, best thing of course is to improve myself as a teacher. But if I'm not interested, if my heart is not here, I must quit, because if I continue here, I'm not harming myself, I'm harming others. Yahya Khan, would you like to say something?
No, sir.
Uh, Biman says the fifth one, my English. Okay, no problem. English is not very difficult to learn these days because there are so many excellent, easily available tools. In the olden days, you had to go to a college and learn, you had to go to an institute, pay a lot of money, learn. Even if you sit at home in front of your television, switch on an English channel every day, 5-10 minutes, and closely, carefully, attentively listen to even one single sentence and try to grasp that, I think that improves. It's very easy now, not like in the past. So English is, I mean, very, very easy to learn today because you have an environment, and if the environment is not there, you can create that environment at home. You can start speaking to your wife or husband or children or English. Who stops you? And there is nobody to laugh at you also. So I mean, you don't need to go to college. That's what I said. I mean, in the olden days, it was not, when we studied, it was not the only place where English could be learned or was taught. It was in the college classroom. That was only for 60 minutes in a day and maybe 180 days in a year. That was very little exposure to English language. Today, it's not like that. I sit in my own house, I sit even in my bedroom, and I have a television or a radio or whatever. I switch on a station where something is happening in English, and then I pay attention, but I'm focused. It's not just switching on the TV and sitting there, but I'm focused. So I'm sitting there for a purpose. I'm not sitting in front of the TV to see the picture. I'm seeing in front of the television to learn English. The moment I'm focused, learning becomes easy. And start using it immediately. Anyway, thank you very much for saying that. So my attention span is short. I'm low in self-esteem, means low self-confidence. Good. Let's move on. I'll leave this. So life is like this. I mean, there are ups and downs. Weaknesses are our our failures. Our failures and our weaknesses are our climbing, our stepping stones to success. So don't worry too much about them, but you have a strategy. I mean, the moment you know what they are, it's easier for you to overcome them. Right. So let's maybe before this, what I'll do is I'll do this maybe. I'll post a link in the chat box. If you click this link, please listen to me first. If you click this link, it will take me a very simple, not very difficult to answer kind of a questionnaire. This questionnaire helps you know your strengths and weaknesses, academic, I mean, academic strengths and weaknesses. I'll give you 5 minutes times. It is 4:18 now. I'll give you 5 minutes to do that, and I'll remain silent during these 5 minutes. But if you have any questions, post them in the chat box. I'll answer them. Please click that link and go there and then do it. You need not worry too much about the score, but those are the areas in which if you scored yourself 1 or 2 on any yardstick, perhaps you are weak in that. And if you scored yourself 4 and 5, naturally you are very good with that. For instance, if you rated yourself on your pronunciation. So if you think your pronunciation, English pronunciation, Telugu, whatever language you speak in the class. So if your pronunciation is very good, so and if you scored yourself very high, that's your strength. And if you think you don't know how to organize a game in your class. So I mean games, activities, pair work, group work, and these are the things that you can organize in a class to make your classes more productive, more involving, more student-centered, and more interactive. So if you're doing that, I think you're good. Suppose you don't know how to organize an activity, how to conduct an icebreaker, or if you don't know how to put the students into pairs, or if you do not have the knack of organizing group work in your class, give them project works, and then the students are not directly involved in the class. I think you are weak in that area, and because you are weak, now you can have a strategy to overcome that. How to build that skill, how to make your class student-centered from what it is now. So instead of making it a one-way delivery of a lecture, can you involve your students in the process of learning? So depends. Similarly, your body language. So do you look at all the students in your class? I use the expression global eye contact. Global eye contact means so an ability to, I mean, be in touch with the whole class. There are some teachers who look at only one side of the class, or they are fixed in their gear, and then the rest of the class is lost. But if you develop this art of looking at the whole class is with me. I look here, I look here, I look here, I look here, and every student feels that I'm making eye contact with them. Automatically, my class is a little more involved and engaged. So these are teacher skills. So everyone that I think there are about 25 questions, 25 statements. So all those 25 statements, I mean, give you an idea of, I mean, what are the teacher skills that you need? Language skills, body language skills, and attitude related skills, and classroom management skills. 4 kinds of them. Right. So the 4 sections, the whole idea is not to give a score, but to tell you what are the questions that you need to ask yourself, and how do you reflect on your skills, and how do you evaluate yourself. Mubarak, do you have a question?
Yes, sir. Well, I filling that form. There are so many stuff which is evaluating that with all the teaching methodologies and how we are pursuing, sometimes when I do give a 5 marks, I feel that I'm more confident. When I give a low marks, and I feel that okay, no, not that much level, we get moderate. So it's a kind of a sometimes I feel the self-esteem. So I be very difficult to give a marks even for myself stuff.
That's where your maturity is essential, because see, whenever you do this SWOC analysis, actually I wanted to tell you when I showed you the last slide, you must be very objective. You must not be biased against you or in favor of you. You must not overrate yourself or you must not underrate yourself. So there are some people who think too low of themselves. Their confidence is very low. Oh no, even if they speak excellent English, they say, no sir, my English is not good. There are some people who speak hopelessly bad English and say, I can't speak English. So, I mean, you are yeah, thank you. So I was telling you that assessing ourselves needs a lot of objectivity. When I assess, see, when I evaluate others, I mean, somebody said he is completely unbiased. When a student writes an examination, do you give marks based on their background? Do you give marks based on their color, caste, creed, community, or maybe some other things, or on their performance? The same way we should be unbiased to ourselves also. I must give myself marks based on my actual strength or weakness. So I must know. Like, I mean, I gave you some input. So whether people told you whether you had passed any. Suppose I say my English is very good. So I'm taking the same example so that the continuity will be there. So if I say I'm very good with my English, so I must have passed some examination. Some Cambridge University or some other university must have qualified me and told me, yes, your English speaking skills are excellent, and that's why I know my English is good. So what is it that proves? What is it that tells me that I'm good or bad at something? Who told me? Well, what did I do? Is there any analytical tool that helped me do this? For instance, I want to know how good my English is. There an examination that I need to pass, and if I score so many marks, my English is this level? My pronunciation. Who tells me my pronunciation is good? So, like that, all these questions. So, once you are objective, once you develop the skill of looking at yourself like you look in a mirror, and the mirror gives you a true picture of yourself. So if this analysis also, SWOC analysis also, if it's objectively done, it helps. Okay, going on to the opportunities analysis. So what are a few questions that we can ask ourselves? So let's take a look at 2 or 3 of them. So first one, for instance, what opportunities to learn are open to me? I finished my post-graduation or a PhD or whatever 4 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 2 years ago, whatever. I left the university and I've come here. But I want to further learn because I'm a teacher. I want to be a lifelong student. All teachers must be lifelong students. And if I have to be lifelong students, what should I do? I must learn the latest in my field. So I'm a chemistry teacher. I must have access to a journal and I must read that journal very frequently. I must go to the library, sit down, some latest book published. I must have access to it. I must read it and I must update myself because, I mean, subject knowledge keeps on changing. It does not remain stationary. It's not stagnant. So it is ever evolving in any subject, whatever subject you teach, irrespective of the subject you teach, especially at the university level, it's constantly getting overhauled. Sometimes, I mean, by leaps and bounds. It's not a slow evolution. It's some kind of a mutatory, explosive transformation that's happening. In that case, I mean, we should update ourselves very continuously and constantly. If I don't do that, I think I'm backward. So what are the opportunities for me available outside to learn? So is there an institute? Is there a teacher? Is there a mentor? Is there a university? Is there an open university? I was telling a similar class earlier. I finished my personal story. I finished my post-graduation in 1976. I think that was about 46 years ago. 47 years ago rather. So during these 47 years, don't think it's an exaggeration. I might have done at least 35 to 40 different diplomas, degrees, whatever. Most 99% of them online or in the distance mode. I'm just telling this not to boast of myself, but I'm telling you the opportunity is available. Luckily for you, you are living in an age when I think every university has a parallel distance education medium. Don't tell me that you don't have time or whatever. You have to prioritize your time and you have to spend a little money on your upskilling yourself, and then you have to take a course, especially something relating to your subject or your profession. Two things. Something, it must help you become a better teacher. How does it become? So it becomes helpful to you to become a better teacher if it helps you build your subject knowledge. It builds your skills, teaching skills. So if you are doing a B.Ed, for instance, if you are doing an M.Ed, for instance, if you are doing a diploma in the teaching of whatever subject you teach, for instance, a methodology, right, a latest pedagogical practice, a latest learning style, a latest multiple intelligence. So something that you are learning must be helpful to you. And if you're doing that, you have an opportunity there. So what are the opportunities available to me? I think I don't need to tell you, there are organizations like SWAYAM available to you now. Almost every course that you want to do is available at zero cost. You don't have to spend any money at all. Khan Academy and then YouTube courses, Udemy. Udemy offers almost all its courses at 400 rupees, 500 rupees. And if you don't need a certificate, I think some courses are available absolutely free of cost. You need to pay only if you need a certificate. I mean, that's a different subject. I'm not going into that. I'm just telling you opportunities are there available, academic learning opportunities. Do you have mentors to help and guide you? Today is Teachers' Day, and then I think I should have greeted you right at the beginning. Yeah, very happy Teachers' Day. But how many of you are in contact with the teachers who taught you at the graduate or postgraduate level, for instance? So in case you have not built that bond with them, you can start even today. There's nothing wrong. I think every teacher must have a continuous bond of mentor-mentee relationship with the teachers who taught them. So somebody who taught me at the postgraduate level, if I keep in touch with them, if I maybe call them once in a quarter, once in a half year, and if I, sorry, one second, there is some problem. Yeah. So if you are in touch with them and if you constantly are engaged with them, they can be your mentors. Suppose once in a year you go and meet them and then just sit with them for a short while and you learn something new. I think having a good, it need not be even the university that you left long ago. It can be a member of your own department in your own college, some senior lecturer who is working along with you, perhaps is more knowledgeable, more experienced and can help you. You tell them that you would like them to be your mentors. You seek your doubts and then you seek your clarifications that you need and build a bond with them. I think that will do what that's an opportunity. The person sitting next to you is an opportunity. A book that's there in the library is your opportunity. An institution that's there near around is an opportunity. A distance course that's available to you is an opportunity. A new policy that's happening in the parliament is your opportunity. A new geological, ecological, environmental development is your opportunity. Remember the word PESTLE, P-E-S-T-L-E. So these are the 6 factors which throw up opportunities and challenges to you. PESTLE is an acronym. P stands for political developments. E stands for economic developments. S stands for social developments. T stands for technological happenings and developments. PESTL. L stands for legal matters, parliament and assembly. And the last E stands for environmental and ecological factors. So these are the factors that are affecting us. These are the 6 factors: political, legal, economic, ecological, social, technological. These are the things that are happening around. So every one of these factors, every one of these developments in the outside world is impacting me directly or indirectly. And if I'm not ready, the opportunity is gone. So there is a social development, there is a new course happening, there is a new education policy, there is a new software, there is a new area, there is a new opportunity somewhere in a distant country. You must be on the lookout. So it's not just taking a look at the newspaper, but maybe there are many, many other ways of keeping yourself updated about the opportunities available to you. Right. Is there any unfulfilled need around you? So there is something that nobody is doing. This is an area where nobody would like to enter. That is your opportunity. Because nobody is doing. There is a problem, nobody is solving it. And you have an opportunity there. Unsolved problems unapproached areas, unserved needs are excellent opportunities. I think the greatest scholars work like that. Greatest businessmen work like that. Greatest industrials work like that. What is one problem which has not been addressed? And let me do it. So, I mean, very recently you might have seen this environmental factor, for instance, that doing away with the single-use plastic and then doing away with the plastic bottles, etc., etc. So, I mean, there is a need for us to work. People like us, people maybe whoever is working on environment-related matters. So, if you are a chemistry teacher, can you find something? Can you find a different solution to that? Or if there is a subject that nobody is teaching, suppose there is one area, one topic in your subject which nobody is interested in teaching because maybe people consider it boring or uninteresting or complex or whatever. So suppose you take up that challenge. That's your opportunity. That's where you have greater opportunity to shine. Okay, these are opportunities. These are some sample opportunities that teachers told me. I listed them. May I request Shakuntala to please read them? Shakuntala, can you read them, please? Yes, she is left. Okay. Don't worry, I'll read them for you. I think the print also is very small. Maybe you cannot see it easily. So there are a few qualified PhD guides in my own college. What a wonderful opportunity. I'm not a PhD and there is a guide readily available in my department. Or even if there is a PhD guide in my university, I can at least take additional support from this person. So if they are not there, I think I have a challenge. But because they are there outside, where their department is, I mean, they're outside me. So that's why they are my opportunity. I have a job offer in an institution which suits my temperament better. I have some difficulty here. I'm not able to get along with people here. I have some issue with the management, with the principal, with the students, with the parents, with some such thing. I'm not able to get along. There's some other college there where my temperament suits best, or their temperament suits me best. So that's an opportunity, right? Similarly, others also, I don't think the new education policy had some openings for me. So if you have taken a closer look at new education policy, what are the departments that are going to be introduced? What are the departments that are going to be wound up? And what are the new topics that needs to be taught tomorrow? What are the different levels that are going to be added? Levels going to be. If you take a look at it, you will know that there are plenty of opportunities there for people like us. So, for instance, this class that I'm doing is an opportunity to me at my age. So once I came to know that there is an opportunity here to share some of the knowledge that I have with the teachers like you, and I found an opportunity, and that's helping, right? Then our institution offers an annual gold medal. Wonderful, it's an opportunity. So just find out what are the criteria on which that gold medal is decided and then awarded. And once I am interested because I'm ambitious, because that's opportunity is available, so I work in that direction. So each of the criteria that are there, I begin meeting. So these are the 10 criteria that I need to meet to earn that award. Opportunities, as I told you, are outside you and you need to leverage them. I'll leave this. I think this picture tells you a lot. Can anybody explain this picture?
To leverage the opportunity, we need to reorganize the thought process and goals. And structuring the goals is nothing but because is making the all ideas and execution of successful thoughts. What we can say, because in correct sense.
Rajeshri, do you have something to add to that?
Sir?
Rajeshri had
so
something to add to that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the picture is simply trying to represent the fact that we must know how to use the opportunities in a positive manner.
Great. Great. So this fellow has lots of opportunities, but he doesn't know how to use them.
How to use
It's
it.
like the books that are there in the library. It's like the systems that you have. It's like the people that are there around you. It's like the universities that are opening around. It's like the new courses that are happening. It is like everything that's happening around. The new education policy. All this is your opportunity. But suppose you don't know how to use it. You cannot reach the top. because this is coming and going away. But suppose the little opportunity that you have, if you know how to use it, how to make the most of it, right? If you build your own opportunities, some people build their own opportunities. They create opportunities for themselves, not only exploiting opportunities created by others. They create their own opportunities. Some people, and the window needs to be opened. If you keep the window closed, the opportunity, goes away before it has even been seen. The window of opportunity is constantly, continuously, forever is knocking at your door. Thank you, Malo, because he says we have to make our own way. Yes, this man proves that we need to make our own way. We need to constantly look around for the opportunities available to us to academically grow. Right? So this, speaks a lot, because I think having the opportunity is not enough, but making use of them is what's important. He actually needs only one ladder, but he has 500 ladders. What's the use? He doesn't know how to use them. Viman, do you have to say something?
Yes, sir. The very beginning, the person finds out his weakness, that he is not so tall to see the thing. Then he takes some opportunities by building that bamboos or
Ladder.
whatever.
You have to
And
build
that
your own
is
ladder.
curiosity, willingness, and from weakness making it strength. He is searching for knowledge or something like that.
Exactly. Thank you very much for explaining that in detail. You can take the same examples that we've taken so far. The library, for instance, libraries. There are 5,000 books in a college library, but all of them are like this if you don't use them. But even if you take one book and read it in detail, in depth, and if you assimilate that, and if you use that to help you grow as a teacher, I think, you are creating your opportunities, using your opportunities. Right. Okay. The last one. So the last one is challenges. So how do we analyze our challenges? It's not very difficult. So how do we challenges? So we ask again a lot of questions. I told you all the 4 situations can be assessed by asking ourselves lots of questions. So what are the questions that we ask ourselves? So what trends could harm my interests? What is happening around in the world? Again, PESTLE, remember, PESTLE, what is happening in the political arena, what's happening in the economic situation around, what is happening in the ecological field, what's happening in the legislative field, what's happening in the social world. So what are the things that are happening outside my college, outside my home, outside my job, right? Which can harm my interest tomorrow. In my 36 years of career, and also maybe 14, 15 years after retirement, I've seen lots of new courses added, lots of courses dropped, lots of new subjects added to the subjects that are taught in the universities. So there were lots of combinations that were not there, even a decade ago. So new courses are happening, new combinations are coming, new avenues for teachers, new avenues for students are happening. When I remember when I was much younger, there used to be only 2 or 3 departments in an engineering college or engineering university. All people knew was civil and maybe electrical and maybe maybe 2 or 3. That's all. Not many. But today I think engineering colleges offer nearly 20, 30, 50 branches. 50. So where are those courses coming from? So lots of developments are happening. So if I am not aware of the situation, I must know by the time I finish for instance, if you have a grown-up son and if you want to admit that student, that son of yours in a college, and then you are looking for the right course, you don't know what's going to happen for 5 years. What course will be in demand after 5? By the time this fellow finishes the post-graduation or graduation or whatever, there are going to be another half a dozen new areas in which they can excel. Right? Pharmaceutical engineering, aeronautical engineering. These were not heard of when I was young. I'm quoting only 1 or 2, but there may be many that I do not know. So in my own subject, what are the developments? If I do not know what those developments are, automatically they can harm my interest. Right. So what obstacles do you currently face So there are some things that are stopping me, that stand as barriers in my way of achieving my success. So what are those barriers? If I identify barriers, what stands behind that barrier, what is happening around, which I have not created, the external world has created, but that is stopping me from achieving something big. I have built a wall for myself. I cannot see the things happening around. I don't read the newspaper. I don't talk to people. I don't watch. What's happening in the world around. And naturally, what happens? I have closed my eyes to the developments. So once I close my eyes to the developments around, these challenges can be fatal to me. People have lost jobs. I think people working in software. I think how many people have lost their jobs? Why have they lost their jobs? It's not maybe the economy is shrinking. So I must know that before. I must plan it a year ahead. So what's happening to the Indian economy, the global economy? What will happen because of the Ukraine war? What will happen because of something else that's happening somewhere? And will it impact my profession tomorrow? Will I also am I also likely to lose my job, or will I be asked to take something else? Will I ask to take some other profession? So the things that can affect my profession are things that are of great concern to me. And if they are of concern to me, I must have a strategy to overcome that before it has happened, preemptive. So is the demand for my strengths decline? I have lots of good strengths. I speak very good English, but tomorrow all English medium schools and colleges are closed in my state, and suppose the government says, okay, tomorrow onwards, all education will happen only in the mother tongue. Where will I go? So I must have an alternative plan. So if the government dispenses with the English medium schools, or if they say that English teaching is not essential in colleges, what other career options do I have? Can I become, for instance, a radio jockey? Or can I start writing something in English? Or can I, what is it that's available to me? What is it that I can do to survive? Right. These are some sample challenges that teachers told me, and then I have a list here. I'll read them for you. We have no PhD guides in this town. That's a challenge. If you want to do PhD, and if there is no one to help you, that's a challenge. But the challenge can be overcome. So you have to relocate yourself, you have to travel and commute long distances to find a PhD, or maybe you have to do your PhD part-time, summer course or whatever. There are some universities that allow that, etc. The new syllabus has content that I am not conversant with. The syllabus has been revised. Syllabus is bound to be revised very frequently. All syllabi, all curriculum, all patterns, all methodologies are continuously being overhauled. So at least once in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, things are changing. And because they have changed, if I am not in tune with them, I am going to suffer. My students are not regular and not punctual. That's not my problem. I did not create them. The problem is from their side. So I must have a strategy. So students are not regular, students are not brilliant, students are not competent, students are not meritorious, and then they're not punctual. So there are problems. So this is a challenge to me. I am a great teacher. I have all the skills that are necessary. But because the other side is not cooperating, the principal is not cooperative sometimes. The college does not encourage, the college does not provide opportunities for you to do things that you consider necessary for your professional growth. So my department is no library. The new government is planning overhauling the curriculum. Admissions into our institutions have been drastically decreasing. So the college has a strength of 1,000, but every year the intake is, going down. There are not enough students coming in. There are not enough admissions happening. So though we have 1,000 seats available, only 500 seats are filled up. That means, so I have a challenge here. I may lose my job. I have to do something else. Right. So with the rising inflation, laboratory consumables have become very expensive. That's why laboratory practical sessions are becoming expensive and difficult. Two of my younger colleagues have acquired higher qualifications. They joined my college much later, but they have higher qualifications. So, I have a risk of, being belittled or going out of job or some such thing can happen to me. And non-academic, this place is quite expensive, and that's why it's difficult for me to survive with the kind of salary that I get. Also, this is not directly academic, but this can be a challenge. Okay, this I leave. So when you do this SWOC analysis, these are the 5 things that you must keep in mind, very, very close. What are a few things? You must be rigorous and be objective. So this point we discussed a little while ago when you did that strengths and weakness questionnaire. So you must be objective. So don't underrate yourself, I told you, and don't overrate yourself. So, I mean, be accurate. Maybe take a little time. Anyway, so be objective. That's one very important thing that we need to keep in mind. We should not overrate our strengths and overrate our opportunities. And similarly, you should not ignore your weakness and ignore your challenges. So if you do that, I mean, it's as good as not using your eyes, not using your inner eyes, not utilizing the. So you are given a microscope, you are given a telescope, you are given a magnifying glass, but suppose you don't use them, right? Either the opportunity is lost or the challenge has already affected you. So view from multiple perspectives, be realistic, be specific, use verifiable facts only, and prioritize. Suppose prioritize means, suppose I have 10 strengths. So out of these 10 strengths, which is more important and which is the one that I can cash on? If I have 10 weaknesses, out of these 10 weaknesses, which is the first one that need to immediately address? If I don't immediately address it, it's going to be very, very seriously injurious to me. So I must overcome. This one slide tells you, this one slide gives you an idea of what exactly the whole thing that we've discussed so far. Can you see my screen, all of you? Anyone?
Yes, sir, we can see.
Because there was
Yes, sir, visible.
there was a
Yes,
slight
sir.
half-second interruption of the internet, I think. Anyway, I'm happy that you are able to see that. So there are 4 boxes here, 8 boxes rather. So this is strengths and this weaknesses, these opportunities, and this is challenges. So strengths and weaknesses on the top are internal factors. You can read here, they are internal. And they are attributes of the individual. You are responsible for that. You have control over that. You have them because of you. Your strengths are because of you. Your weaknesses are because of you. You can have a lot of control over them, and you can afford to change them, manage them, control them. And on the other side, opportunities and challenges are external, and they are not your attributes, they are attributes of the environment. So it's because environment means your surroundings, the world. So the world is creating them for you outside. And on the other side, these are these two strengths and opportunities are positive to you, helpful to you, and they can be exploited to your advantage. And weaknesses and challenges are harmful to you today or tomorrow. These two are today and these two are tomorrow. So they can be harmful to you, and they can hurt you in terms of stopping you from achieving your goals. And what do you do with your strengths? You need to capitalize on them. This word, capitalize. So identify 4 or 5 areas, 4 or 5 strategies to capitalize on your strengths, and identify a few strategies to overcome your weaknesses. And similarly, design your own action plan to exploit the opportunities, and take some immediate steps, preemptive steps to counter your possible future challenges. So this summarizes, and then you can create a template like that. I'll show it to you in the next slide. So this is some kind of SWOC analysis done by somebody. So you take a sheet of paper and draw 4 boxes in that, and then title them my strengths, my weaknesses, my opportunities, and my challenges, and write down all the strengths that you have, all the weaknesses that you have. And had it been a physical class, we would have done it physically. I would have given you a handout and asked you to do it, but you can try something like this. So you after going home, after this class is over, so please create something like this for you yourself. And what do? You write your name at the top, and you also write the date. Why is the date necessary here? Anybody?
Because because we need to know the now and the future, sir.
Okay. Any other reason? Yes, please.
We can also check our progress over time, maybe.
Oh,
We can
yes.
refer
Thank
back
you
to
so
that
much.
date.
Thank you. That's closer. So, because strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities and challenges are not constant. For instance, if I'm very strong in something, it does not mean that I'm going to be strong in that area all my life. And similarly, if there is an opportunity today available to me, it does not mean that it's going to be available to me tomorrow also. So that's why the date is very important. So once you know your SWOC, you need to constantly update it. Maybe next month, after 3 months, after 1 year, you can do it again and compare. What are the strengths you've capitalized on? What are the challenges you've overcome? So if you do this exercise again after 3 months or 6 months or 1 year or 2 years, it's going to be different. That's why the date is important. So when you do your SWOC analysis, don't forget to put the date on, and again, ask yourself lots of questions that I gave you to know your strengths. Ask all yourself lots of questions to know your weaknesses, and the same way your opportunities and weakness also. And don't be in a hurry. This cannot be created in maybe half an hour, 1 hour, and this needs a lot of reflection, a lot of time to think, a lot of application of your mind, and analysis of the data. Be factual, be realistic, be true to yourself, and be objective, and then make a list. Once you know the list, somebody was asking me in the beginning, is it for individuals? No, SWOC analysis can be done for individuals. SWOC analysis can be done for a department. SWOC analysis can be done for a whole college. You can do it for your family. You can do it for a nation, for the whole world, for a certain factor. I mean, you choose whatever, and SWOC analysis can be done for that certain area. For instance, your family finances, you can have a SWOC analysis of that, right? The social relationships that you have built, you can. So I mean, you can try one for yourself and one for your college. And when you do it for college, do it collectively. Take all the lecturers into, all your colleagues into consideration, and then make a joint effort, make a combined effort, and then create a SWOC analysis for your whole college. What are the opportunities available to your college to grow? What are the challenges that your college, for instance, some other college is happening in the neighborhood, or some other system is happening, etc. Right. Okay. So this is how you create that. After going home, please do it, and I'll give you my mail ID in the last slide. And in case you have any difficulty in doing this exercise, please let me know. I'll certainly try to help you. So these are a few questions that I'd like to ask you. And stop this. This is my last slide. So what is it that you do? List your strengths and list a few skills that you need to improve. This is your weaknesses. So a few skills that as a teacher you need, that have scope to improve, and this is the beginning. So once you begin answering this question too, you are reflecting and you are finding out, you are looking within, and you are identifying the areas in which you have scope to improve. And the last one, set yourself a few targets that you would like to achieve in the next 1 month, 6 months, 1 year, whatever. So fix up a target. So I am going to achieve this in the next 1 month. I am going to do this in the next 6 months. My English pronunciation is not good, and within the next month, 6 months, I am going to improve my English pronunciation. So set yourself targets. Once you have those targets are very clearly defined, and once you have the action plan for that ready, success is very, very easy to achieve. So I'll stop there. I think this is my mail ID. You can copy it down if you want. lionnagaraju at gmail.com. LIONNAGARAJU at gmail.com is my mail ID. And this is the web address where this slideshow is available to you. In case you want to visit this slideshow again, if you want to make notes, or if you want to copy slides, and then you can do it from there. Slideshare.net/Lion Nagaraju. So I'll stop there, and then I'll spend the next 10 minutes discussing. If you have any questions, please feel free to give your opinion on this, and then seek clarifications and give your own point of view. Or if you disagree with me, agree with me, please feel free to interact. This is now, the floor is open to all of you. Please come forward to contribute your ideas on this. Has it been useful to you? How has it been useful to you? Biman, yes.
Sir, your that way of teaching or instructing with instruction is so good that I can't explain, sir.
Thank you.
I have learned many things. So one silly example has come in mind, but if you permit me, I can.
Please go ahead.
Sir, if I want to buy a newspaper, for example, so this is my willingness. Willingness, or can I say it my strength also? Willingness is also a strength because willingness leads to learn many things. So, is it my strength also? One thing. Then I read the news. I didn't. I purchased the newspaper, but I didn't read the newspaper. So this is not an opportunity, as I didn't take any advantage from
That's an opportunity lost.
Yeah. Then, for example, sir, I read the newspaper, but I have some problem in vocabularies. I couldn't understand vocabularies. So this is my weakness.
Correct.
Yes, sir. Okay. What would be the challenges in that example?
The challenge is you cannot afford to buy a newspaper. You don't have money to buy a newspaper, or you don't get that newspaper in your town, and you live in such a place where the newspaper is not physically, the hard copy is not available. That's a challenge.
Okay.
Something that's not available to you is a challenge.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
Right. Rajeshri, I think you wanted to say something.
Yeah, sir, I had a question. Actually, it's a two-part question, sir. First of all, I wanted to know what is the difference, or is there really any difference between SWOC analysis and SWOT analysis, which is SWOT. I think T stands for threat, because this is something that students in my university are required to do. So they are provided a form where they have to do their SWOT analysis and they have to submit it to their mentors, whoever is the mentor that has been assigned to them, and then they submit this. They have been doing this since last year. So is there any difference between the two? And why do we have two different ways of doing a similar kind of thing? That was the first part of the question, sir. And another thing is that when you provided the list of the probable strengths that a teacher may possess, you had also listed health and being energetic as one of the possible strengths that a person may possess. But when you talked about weakness, you did not mention illness or a weak health. So I just wanted to know, sir, for example, I have been suffering from a chronic health condition since the past 1 year, which has affected my performance as a teacher. And sometimes I feel like maybe I'll never recover and I'll not be able to achieve my career goals. So does this become a strength? Does this become a weakness for me, sir?
Thank you for both the questions. Question one was already answered at the beginning of the class. Somebody asked me the same question, and maybe perhaps you were not there then. So I said that trends, challenges and threats, as far as our class today is concerned, we are using synonymously, but they are not synonyms. They are different. So people thought that threats is a very kind of a negative word. The moment you call something a threat, perhaps your approach will be very, very very defensive. So you do not like to overcome a threat because you already called it a threat. So people thought that challenge is a more positive kind of word. People approach it better. People look at it a little more positively. And once you call it a challenge, you begin strategizing on that. So that's why. So more people are using SWOC analysis today, and there's nothing wrong in using the old term. I mean, only the approach has changed. That's all. Regarding the second question, I told you already that the list is not comprehensive. It's only a small list of some things that came to my mind. You can go on adding to that. Ill health certainly is a weakness. Lack of enthusiasm is certainly a weakness. Lack of energy, physical energy in the class is already, I told you, is a weakness. So these are, I mean, certainly there anything that prevents you, that stands like a barrier in your way from achieving what you want to achieve, is a weakness, and that's inherent in you. So it's inherent. You are responsible if your health is not good. I'm not talking about ailments which you have no control over. There are some ailments which perhaps you did not invite them, but maybe there is a genetic problem, there is some other problem. So no, I'm not talking about that. But if you have, for instance, uh, I was talking to you about my backache. I was talking to you about diabetes and a few other diseases which you take a little care of yourself. Perhaps you can easily keep them away, but you did not take care. That's why they have become your weaknesses. So imagine a teacher who is not physically fit. So that certainly is a weakness. Uh, Yagnaseni said, ideas putting success in life. Yes, I agree with you. These are some ideas that you can take home and they will help you succeed in your profession and succeed in your life. In case you have not answered those questions in the questionnaire that I gave you, you can copy that link. I think that link will be open for a few more days and you can try doing it. And you can also copy down the questions and the scores and you can take a closer look at them. Okay, if there are no other questions, let's stop here. Thank you very much. If there isn't any formal closing, we'll call it a day. I don't know how it closes. Is there any formal closing?
No, sir.
Yes, sir. It's a vote of thanks I have to give.
Okay, please. Please go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, and I'm honored to have the opportunity to give a vote of thanks on this day. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us your precious time. We are really enlightened with your knowledge and presence, sir. You truly make this day full of knowledge for us, sir. And we acquired a lot of information which truly help us in our life. We have no words to offer gratitude for your valuable presence in this session. You gave us a deep insight in SWOC analysis and some very interesting facts. I'm sure the knowledge you gave us will definitely help us in our future. It was really a big opportunity for us to upgrade ourselves, sir. Once again, sir, on behalf of all the participants, I thank you for this informative session, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, all of
Thank
you.
you, sir.
I'm
Thank
going
you,
to
sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
during the, during the second fortnight, I'm going to be with you again.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. See you. Bye-bye. See you again.
Bye, sir.